perfectly fine. I just thought it was funny that you threw me down. But yeah, I don't like to be modded in rooms. I hold my own rooms, and that is enough for me to have to mod. But I was like, what the heck? They just, you little stinker butt.
You fart sniffer?
As long as stinker butts and you are good, then I'm okay.
Yeah, no, nothing really bothers say whatever they want to say in the chat. They can't defend themselves. Amazing. Just no way to talk to a future Congressman. He said he's going to text a few people so they can send me the link. Yeah, send the link, sir or ma'am. We need receipts.
I've been in rooms daily where I hear the N word, but very rarely will I ever even say the N word in quotations. Never the hard R. I had a room that did really well once. It was called, I don't know, discussing the N word or something like that. But I like to say N word, but never the hard R. I also think it's interesting that John chooses to spend the majority of his time in this room, the only room on all of Clubhouse that explicitly bans the use of the N-word. I think that somebody that enjoys using the N-word would probably find a different space. In fact, they can be in any other space. Also, I also live stream myself on 13 different cell phones every single time I come into this app. So I think for me to be using the hard R word or the N word hard R, and recording myself do it would be pretty stupid to do, don't you think? Well, bring the receipts, dark mode. I'm not lying, and I'd be happy to watch any video you have.
Where he said this in, like any of the clubhouses or anything like that, can you name drop anything for validation?
Thanks, dark mode. Appreciate it. They have no receipts and they've got no voice.
Yeah, I get the feeling that this is going to be one of those challenges that never gets responded to. He'll leave the room, he'll never come back, and then he's trying to sow seeds of doubt. He has no evidence. If he did, he's welcome to come on the stage and share it.
Oh my god, somebody's claiming that dark mode is Aaron Berger.
I did originally. Yeah.
So wait, Joe B, what's your opposition to helping fund the campaign to elect John Kitover?
I'm knee-deep in Indiana politics.
Knee-deep in Indiana politics.
Well, Illinois and Indiana share a big border, Joe B. Technically, we're brothers and sisters. So, what's good for the sister is good for the brother.
Yeah, I take.
Well, now Bree has a claim.
What the hell does that mean?
She's saying that I've been in rooms where this guy would come on stage with a super high-pitched voice, disrupting the convo with Ron Banter until he gets kicked, this guy being John.
That is 100% true.
Yeah, there was a character. I don't remember what the character's name was, but it was quite entertaining. What was that character's name?
I had a trans character once. I cannot remember. I may have had an African American woman once profile. Can't remember that name either.
She was in here a couple days ago, wasn't she?
No.
You're not
No, that's not me. But I can impersonate that person. What is it, point?
Well, yeah. No, there was another one with like a southern name. She had a full name.
Yeah, I can't remember the name.
It was good though. You had the room going for a while. I think that was the last time I had let you on the stage prior to this reconciliation, which has turned into full-fledged support for your
This is what this app was meant for. We should have 2 to 3. We do have another person running, Mark Rice, and if there's anybody else running, I mean, you can still file for Congress right now, and it might only take you 15 minutes. If you want to talk about politics every single day up until March, which is what you're going to do, you might as well, toss your hat in the ring. Brad, can we fill out your FEC form today and get you to run for Congress?
Sorry, John, but conservative dude.
Dark Point is GOAT. Well, Goat was also going by misogynist a couple weeks ago, and he was having panic attacks because I was recording his rooms. And then he went dark, and I haven't seen him since. He also called the local police department on me twice.
You mean the insurance on Clubhouse?
Yeah, I'm actually thinking about starting a Clubhouse insurance indemnity corporation where we can offer, Clubhouse Anon insurance against your rooms just in case you're illegally and illicitly being recorded by me.
Already available. Go by. It's Sarah.
So yesterday was.
Whatever I say will make the courtroom laugh.
So yesterday was an amazing day, long day. We did raise, I think, $45 yesterday and $510 the day before. But today, I believe I have a date lined up, and I'll be heading down to the beach. So, I'm gonna try to find the best room to live stream that I think has the longest possible duration, and then set it and forget it.
John, can you hear me?
I can hear you. But now we can't hear you, Joby, if you're talking.
How about now?
Yep.
Advice.
Sorry, Joby, maybe you're using Bluetooth or something, but no one can hear you.
I heard free advice, but I didn't hear what the advice was.
Don't tell me to quit my day job because that ended in May. But, I also want to say that this campaign also has a lawsuit pending against Scott Bessent and the Treasury Department. So we also have that paperwork going for us. So Joby is advising that we use transitions with tough questions to snap to your stronger points. So a transition statement might be something like, now that I've told you about X, I'm going to tell you about Y. And late last night, we read the Declaration of Independence. That was our little patriotic American ASMR moment. Adams came pummeling me with incredibly difficult and challenging questions. Thank you, Dr. Adams.
I think we're gonna win Adams over. I think he's gonna help the campaign.
I think we're going to inspire other people to also take direct action and direct communication, you know, to the constituent, to the power structure, and to the people. I'm not so sure I feel comfortable with this title being attached to the campaign and a donation tab. So I'm going to change the title of the room to a topic that somebody might like to talk about. Any suggestions?
When you go slumming for fat fucking girls, you end up at the bottom of the degradation barrel.
Do you feel like it's okay though at the bar to warm up your communication skills with someone who has a very high body mass index?
No, I don't. I think if you're gonna fuck a fat chick and you think somehow you're gonna win on that, I think you're pathetic. But I will say it's been entertaining this morning. I do have a lot to think about. I have a lot of people that I look sideways at now, especially Monica and Bima. I have no problem. Monica lives in New Orleans, so I have no problem since I'm being doxxed in other rooms and other places. I have no problem anymore going completely unfiltered and calling out stupid shit. And unfortunately, I have been transparent. I haven't changed who I am on this app. I haven't hid behind monikers. I haven't hid behind PTRs. I'm me. That is literally me in that photo on top of a fucking mountain. It's not hidden. I have my Instagram. This is my original account. I've never, I haven't had to change. I haven't done anything. John, you've been on this app just as long as me. You've recorded me. Probably I'm one of your top recording people on the list there. I've been all over. I have literally been here. And here's the funny shit. Most of you think somehow or another the little shit, the little things that you say go unnoticed, that people don't know things and can't accumulate knowledge. But I do. I know. I know a lot. And I know exactly where people live. I know what people do for a career. I know what people look like. I know a lot more than people think. And I think if you're gonna shit talk my Elizabeth, I think if you're gonna shit talk my kids, and then you're gonna go around screaming that I tried to screw a 2-year-old, or you're gonna be a behemoth like Bima, then I'm going to sit there and say, hey, fuck you, fuck her, fuck them. I don't really care. So now every time, I don't care what room I'm in, I'm just gonna say we should probably. There are some species on this planet that deserve to go extinct. Monica, Bimas, Keegan's, those white people, they should go extinct. Black people, rise up. Where is your fucking Malcolm X spirit? Get that going. Rise up. Pummel those clans people. Get rid of those troglodytes. Fucking, hey, take over. I'm with you. I'll be there. I'll march with you. Come on, let's go. Let's get the million-man march. And let's park it all on Monica's trailer park and shut her down. I don't believe in free speech. I think we should get rid of free speech. I think we should condemn, duct tape, and silver lip shut. Or harass, whichever one you guys want.
Brad, did you get my message yesterday?
Nope.
Well, I think if we were to all hold hands and march forward and toward the campaign to elect John Kitover, not only would the people with extreme body mass indexes burn a lot of calories and start losing weight, but I think people who like to road rage and get very angry on a social audio chat app might burn some of that steam off and calm down and say, you know what? Let's go have a nice dinner.
Nah, I'm Irish. I hold grudges. And secondly, I have met people off this app. I've had nice dinners with them. I've had drinks. I've helped someone put a roof on their house off of this app. Let's see what else is there. Oh, I helped someone get a car off this app. Literally drove them to the fucking licensing center because this person didn't have a driver's license but wanted a car. Taught them to drive, drove them to the fucking driver's license thing, told them how to pass their test. They get their test. The next week, take them out for a car to go get their first fucking car off of this fucking app. But that was me who went to help somebody fix their car, put brakes on it. That sucks. I hate doing that shit. And usually you never have the part that I need, the key to unlock it. Chevys are fucking notorious for that. So, I mean, you just, like, the idea that I wouldn't meet somebody just to have that. I had some guy try to come at me. Minnehaha Park. He showed up and then turned around and walked away when he saw me. So I'm willing to do that. Met Brooks. He committed suicide. You remember him? Monica went around this whole app saying how close.
R.I.P.
Brooks was a close friend of mine. Brooks, I partied with. A whole bunch of people. He was in our circle. We knew something was going on with him, but his family didn't tell any of the friends. His family didn't tell a lot of us, and then when we did find out, we kept it secret until some other twat waffle leaked it out. Monica went around here bragging and acting like she was a fucking victim. Let me tell you what Brooks said. Brooks said he wouldn't piss on her if she was on fire. He couldn't stand her. He actually had t-shirts printed out making fun of her. That was Brooks's shtick. And he didn't like her. So Monica doing that shit was performative bullshit and crazy. And that was the final straw on any type of forgiveness, was the fact that she tried to gain clout on Clubhouse over some guy deciding to end his life in Minnesota, Minneapolis, next to my backyard, and then acted like she knew him better than Gerard, myself, or a couple other people off this app who we met him in person.
Can I interrupt you for a second, Lev? I just want to say, like, I just want to thank you for, you know, because you're going on this whole diatribe, and I just want to give you your flowers. Because when I was in that, you know, abusive relationship and stuff, and I was desperate, I called Brad, messaged him on Clubhouse, and he was there for me and really helped me get out of this abusive relationship. Because I had, like, no self-worth. Everything was done. And I just want to, you know, shout out to Brad for, he didn't even really know me then, and he was there and helped me get through it and talk to me like a father would. And it was just, you know, I don't understand the disdain for Brad just because of, you know, he literally stands up for himself when people come for him. He has every right to scream and call them names. I mean, it's open, you know, game when people come for him. And I believe solely in him standing up for himself. But I just wanted to thank you, Brad, for, you know, that time that really changed my life, bro. Like, I don't know where the fuck I would be, man, if I didn't talk to you that day. Probably in the hospital, probably dead. So it's just, you know, I wanted to make sure that, you know, you knew that and you remembered that really changed my whole life, bro. Like, I don't know where I'd be if we didn't have that conversation.
You don't give yourself enough credit. You're stronger than you look. And you're stronger than you think you are. You're a lot stronger than I could ever be.
I gotta piggyback off of that too, though. Like, when people do roast other people on here, it's a matter of character of what they would do as to how they react to it. Some people will just leave the room. Some people will totally crash out. Brad crashes out in the type of way where he'll throw a fact at you, but he'll still manage to insult you at the same time, right back with 10 times more than he. I believe that there's an authenticity there that I can really appreciate, because had Keegan actually made this claim and had Brad not backed himself up and just let all the pressure build up and overwhelm, had he not done shit about it, Keegan would have been right. He would have been the one. Brad would have been in the wrong. But because he actually spoke his piece, I actually feel like that type of attitude alone is what sets Brad from the curb.
100%. Dude, Brad is dope, man. Just dope. Like, really good man to have in your life. Like, even as a friend, he's just a father figure all around to, like, all the women around him that treat him, you know, with respect. He is a literal father figure to a lot of the women in his life. So I just, you know, shout out to Brad for always sticking by that morale and by that compassion, dude, because, you know, I didn't really have my father at that time. You know, what was going on, Brad, you know, so it was amazing to just have that type of confidence spoken into you, like a father would to his daughter. So it was awesome, dude.
But Pockets.
Yeah, you're not giving yourself enough credit. You are a lot stronger than you think you are. You're a lot stronger than people give you credit for, and everything shall pass. You'll get through it. You're a good one. You're
Yeah, this too shall pass. Wake that the fuck up.
You know, I hate to play the devil's advocate, but Pockets, are you aware of Brad's position on cutting Medicare and Medicaid?
I'm aware. And I still fuck with you too, John. Just because y'all believe in certain things doesn't mean I hate y'all. It just means I think you're retarded. but that's okay.
Hey, guys, my favorite liberal, you know who she is, just sent me a video. Pop down in the chat and see what I'm inundated with on the daily. And this is over the top.
Oh my God, Shirley, I just watched it yesterday, and it is complete facts.
Those are complete facts.
Yeah, that it's more like a setup. They want these things to happen. They want people to do this so that they can enact these laws and these controls. I believe, yeah, it's a setup.
I don't know. We'll see. There was a gentleman in the room that was saying he was glad that they were going to up the police force in Washington because he was tired of seeing people die on the wharf from fentanyl when he was there with his family. I don't know. And Washington, D.C. does not have a governor. So, you know, he's kind of got control over the National Guard in D.C. I don't know. Now, Brad might have an opinion about that, and he is our stage military guy. I'm going to mic up.
Hold on, Chen, before he goes, let me ask, does that scare you with the fact that, yeah, there is no governor and he has that control?
So far, I'm not. Listen, I understand history, and we're going to have to watch and see. What I thought was absolutely ridiculous is that we had 3 years of summers of burning and looting. Okay, and I kind of thought, hey, right out the bat, he said we're not going to have a summer of burning and looting. And so, and the summer hadn't been that terrible. Now, I have a friend who works in downtown Dallas. There have been protests, but possibly no looting and burning. And there was some of that even in Dallas. So, I don't know. I'm right at this point, I'm an observer.
Right. All right, sorry, Brett.
No, you're fine. There's some concerns that I have over putting troops in there. He can only do so much for 48 hours, and then he has to ask an extension for up to 30 days. So, I mean, and then it'll have to be extended and approved through Congress. What I think is the major course of problem is the prosecutions in DC itself, because the city council, even the mayor themselves, has gone, and if you go back before this whole thing became an optic war, if you look back, the mayor of DC was bitching about the city council not providing enough substance because of the police reforms, because of some stupid shit, and congressional leaders allowing this. They didn't override it. They did override some things, but not other things. So there's a kind of a complex history of that one. But what was ironic even this morning, Shirley, is that New Mexico governor announced that she's in a state of emergency for crime and drugs and homeless. So if you have a governor from the state, grand blue state of New Mexico screaming this, then Trump may not be far off. And I have some concerns, but now she is going to ask the president for resources to combat that issue down there along the border. So, I mean, there seems to be some common sense to this and some trepidation and caution, but I think the idea that this is a major breach on people's rights, it is, and I get where the spin is, but it's not really, because it's afforded in the Constitution, and unless we're willing to change that, I can't do a whole lot. Like, Congress can take back power. They just need to take back power.
That was good. That was good. Let's see. So when if I decide to answer leave a response, what should be the consensus of the room that I can say, well, I discussed this with the clubhouse room, and they say we're watching this with trepidation. That would be a big word, wouldn't it?
I would say that, while we understand the rationale behind it and the push and the ask for both from people on the ground and even in leadership levels, I would say we're watching it with caution, because again, we people are the stewards of our own government. That's what the beauty of the Constitution is. It doesn't make an elected king. It doesn't give them unilateral powers. Congress can even shift powers, but the power still, in theory, rests with us. So we can decide at that point of saying, no, we're not going to do this, and we can do petitions. We can do a lot of things that the government wouldn't like. So, we're still in control of our government. So I would just say we're watching it, but this is why the Constitution is built that way. We have a lot of mechanisms to check power, in theory. It's just whether or not we're going to take them.
Again, see, this is the Brad I love, the one that has the good answers.
So are we ready for the bold change that's needed? Are we ready?
I mean,
If it's John Kitover or the debt, I don't know.
is austerity
Yeah.
bold change?
Yeah, Americans for Austerity. That's the movement that John Kitover is bringing. So if you want to make America great again, truly make it great again, you should fork it over for John Kitover.
So he's doing Illinois, right?
This is correct.
All right. So can we do how about remember back in the day we had, at least I did it. I did it in numerous rooms. We had a bunch of political candidates come on. We had advisors come on. I interviewed. I actually did a bunch of interviews, asked questions. Can we set up one of those kind of things to actually probe his stances and his political platform?
A town hall? John, are you ready for a town hall?
Yeah, let's do it.
I heard John comment that Dr. Adams was grilling him with difficult questions. Maybe we should get Adams to let's see. When you take somebody and you teach them some stuff, give them the answers to the hard questions? I don't know.
Yeah, but Shirley, we gotta be careful. This Dr. Adams, I've known now on the app for about 4 years. There's a rumor that he is actually a political operative for Darren LaHood. That is the opponent that has to get past in the primary. So I don't know.
This could be true, but we also have hired paid crisis actresses on this app as well to defeat Darren LaHood. So it's all about creating the right clips that go viral, and we create a mind virus against Darren.
How would you do against a mock debate? Have you had any practices in debate? And I don't mean clubhouse debate, but an actual selling yourself to an audience.
I think so. I've got about 20,000 videos up on YouTube, 20,000 videos up on Instagram. I've done Toastmasters. I've run for office a couple times, college, and for committee person precinct, here in Chicago in the ward. So, I think I'm a decent public speaker, but, I was given some advice by Joe B about transitions. So you can always improve, be more clear, be more effective, be more persuasive or informative.
I was going to tell you, you should probably add one key above all of those. Be a better salesman.
Be a better what?
Make sure you don't lose sight of the main point you're trying to get to. A lot of people get lost in trying to set out the painting of the picture to sending the message rather than actually getting to the message. You feel me?
Yeah. I mean, be short, be succinct, get to the point.
Can I just ask the room a question? And this is for anyone in the audience or anyone on the stage. Are you ready for change? Are you ready to have someone that's going to actually fight for you? Or are you, would you rather stay with the status quo? It's an honest question. Anybody?
Depends on who's bringing the change. I'm ready for change. In all seriousness, all snides and all jokes and all little fucking troglodyte trolling thing aside, I'm ready for change. But I am not sure because again, John has his platform. He's not literally, he talks about the debt. Okay, you got a good understanding of the financial crisis that awaits. But then on your district level that you're running for instance, how are you going to handle the immigrant crisis that's existing on there and also the zoning issues that prevent anybody from developing those areas or into housing or bringing in affordable housing or destroying old waste areas and not use warehouses to house illegal immigrants? These are some of the questions that people would have about him and his district.
Well, I live in Chicago. I don't live in Rockford or Peoria, but they also have dealt with, this wave of illegal alien invasion. And in Chicago, with all the tents popping up and spending $1 billion on housing them, feeding them, giving them $6,000 cash cards, I don't think ICE can find them soon enough. And they're all lined up right there. If we had more ICE employees, we could get these people out of the state of Illinois and back to their home country. And that's my opinion.
Okay, so now this makes a lot of sense that you didn't know what the largest employer was in the 16th district because you don't actually live there. Well, even with this response, the immigrant response, that is not the case for the 16th district. This is a predominantly rural district in the state of Illinois. It has not had the increase in migrants like the city of Chicago. Yes, so they all come from the same state budget. Yes, but your statement is actually inaccurate for your district. You should actually learn more about
It's
what's
just
going on.
your opinion, mother. You're not in Rockford. You're not in Peoria. You don't know.
My friends and family still live there. Bro, pick up the phone and call people in the district if you don't want to actually live there.
Oh, we're going to get there, and we're going to get there and march in triumphantly as a congressman.
But you see the point? When you tried to stop, you just got backed up. You lost.
Well, welcome to life, where we take some challenges and have a little courage to enact change. Are you ready for change now?
You don't want my kind of change.
Well, one time I was walking down the street and I saw this poor African American homeless guy, and he was saying, "Anybody got any change? Anybody got any change?" And then I thought about that and I said, philosophically, he needs a change of positive vibration. Too bad he didn't know about the mojo positive vibration.
Even Mojo wouldn't want my type of change, or at least my implementation of change. I would do it on the tip of a spear. I would do violence to change because I don't believe I would make the French Revolution look like a snowball fight amongst middle schoolers. That's how brutal I would go because that's the change that I would do. But you wouldn't like who I would target. It wouldn't necessarily be all the rich. It wouldn't necessarily be a lot of the politicians. They would be a lot of aides and a lot of other people would have that. But I don't believe change is. I believe change is only brought about by revolution and violent actions. Otherwise, I have yet to see change. And even those who will say, well, the civil rights was nonviolent, it was nonviolent one way, and it was not nonviolent. They had dogs, they had hoses, they got beaten, they got fucking murdered, they got hung, they got lynched. A whole bunch of shit went on during the civil rights. So I don't believe that change doesn't happen unless you have a violent start and initiative, and the winner gets to decide. Who's ever got the most bodies at the end wins.
Well, I don't know who from the FBI sent you into this social audio chat room to freak out my live stream viewers on YouTube, but I resist violence and I do not support violence. You may be theoretically correct about change and violence, but I would just say that as the contrarian to your position, who believes in peace first and what the Declaration of Independence says, friends in peace, enemies in war, and I think, domestic and foreign enemies hopefully will get justice through the DOJ and Trump, but I don't believe in violence. I don't encourage violence. I believe in reading a book. You joined us, Brad, when we read a book, and I want to give you your kudos. You read it with such gusto.
Wait, do you think warriors don't read? How do you become great warriors if you can't read?
No, what I'm saying is you took the time here on Clown House, to read with us, and a lot of people didn't have the courage, maybe the capability to actually read. Hakima read with us, and there were others. So, I just want to salute all those people here who organized themselves in an efficient manner, created a a 2-day book club. We read the whole Tao Te Ching. I got a little bit of wisdom out of it. I hope you got a little bit of wisdom out of it. And we demonstrated that you can come together on a social audio chat app and, actually create some change to the discourse and inject a new script, because the road rage conversations on this app for short-term dopamine feedback looping is a complete waste of time, because you don't create anything. You just burn up your opportunity cost.
Did you purposely mute yourself at the end?
I did, yeah. I don't have anything else to say other than the fact that I have recorded 40,000 videos of everybody in this room talking about nothing. If you did any critical self-analysis about what you're saying on this app and how it's actually not creating change, you're just creating dopamine and repeating yourself as opposed to optimizing yourself or optimizing the system. The only way to optimize it is through Congress or through the Senate or running for president.
Or third, actually going to your district.
Well, hold on. Let me just add to this. If anybody is feeling in their core the mojo positive vibration, I would ask you to prayerfully consider making a generous donation.
So I'm gonna say this, that change happens from administration to administration by about what, 4 or 5, like you can say 4 to 5 degrees one way or the other. Like there's not a whole lot of change from administration to administration. Now over time, there have been power grabs, there have been significant changes. FDR created a new society, the Fed was created in 1913. You have a whole lot of issues that are going up, and policies do have long-term implications. But the change isn't necessarily done overnight. It doesn't persuade. And anybody who says they're going to Congress or the Senate and say they're going to change politics, they're automatically fucking lying. Like I've heard this line all my life, and no offense, anybody who ever says it on a candidate stage says I'm going to change there, it's not. They are full of shit. Where you're going there is I'm going to work in the political system to try to actually bring something of value to my people that I represent. That would be more adamant. They are not going to bring change. You're not going to stop wars. You're not going to stop the policing. You're not going to change the debt. You're not going to be able to cap off any of that. You're not going to improve trade relations, let alone between Canada and Mexico or any other fucking nation out there. Because quite frankly, it doesn't work that way. And you don't have the power to do so. And you're not going to bring a utopia. So literally, John, unless you can actually address, and you got packed up twice now in 2 days by Nicholas on topics in your own backyard. So I'm going to have to respectfully rescind any kind of offer of financial gain for your campaign until you've actually stepped into the role and actually start stepping up and proving yourself.
So can I ask you a question, John? What made you decide to want to run for this district if you don't live there? What was the inspiration for it?
Hold on one sec, Mother. I just want to address what Brad said. Yeah, Brad, I welcome healthy and constructive criticism, and the fact that you don't want to give $1 or $10 or $1,000, I respect that. Make use of your money in the best way that you deem fit, because I think everybody should, optimize their spend. And the way I spend my money is the way I'd like to see the government spend our money. And I am sick of Democrats controlling, touching, dispersing, and giving our dollars out in acquisition and procurement projects and programs across the entire federal government and shipping hundreds of billions of dollars overseas. I know there's common ground that we agree on. I've heard you talk, and I agree with 99% of the stuff you have to say, except when you're issuing death threats on a social audio chat app. Now, I know you also receive death threats on this app, and you are literally just fighting back. And I think anybody who would make a judgment on these debates, these Keegan Brad debates, is a fool, because to even listen to it, I think is a waste of time. But I understand your position, and I too would fight in the same way that you fight against a lot of these demon cacklers on this app who want to drag you down and waste all your effing time. Okay, go ahead, Mother.
No, I was going to say, so I'm trying to understand the logic behind your decisions. So what inspired you to run for a district that you don't know very well, that you don't live in? Is it because it's easier to run in that district compared to a Chicago district? What was?
That's the first question I always get from people that want to bring the campaign down. I live in the northwest side of Chicago. I'm in Illinois.
Hello?
Hold on, mother.
Hello?
I'm speaking. Hello, hello,
Sorry,
hello.
I'm in the Matrix. Sorry, it's my fault. No, go ahead, John. Sorry, I got lost in the Matrix. Go ahead. I think I cut you off.
Yeah, that's okay. What I'm saying is, people who find themselves lost in the matrix quite regularly ask this one question. You don't even live in the district. Okay, that's not a question.
John.
That's an implication saying that I'm not going to represent them better than Darren LaHood, which is an absolutely ridiculous assertion. How is $20 trillion in debt good for the people in the district of in 16th district of Illinois? It's not good for them. How is their property taxes and income taxes, which only go up in the state of Illinois, good for them? It's not good for them. They're not getting any kind of return on investment for their tax dollars. If you want to keep kicking the can down the road and having, $2 trillion annual deficits, keep voting for the congressperson you have. 10 years for Darren LaHood is enough. He signed a term limits pledge. He's already in violation of his term limits pledge. I too have signed that term limits pledge. And, Darren LaHood is violating his term limits pledge. No, but this is all hypothetical and fun and role play at this point. But we're actually running. We need to get signatures on these ballots. I don't know the last cutoff day when we have to turn the ballots in to the state of Illinois Election Commission. So there's a real work that has to be done, and all the Q&A here on Clown House is fun, but going many days here on Clubhouse for 18 hours a day. Today, I am going to take a break and actually disengage from Clown House and go to the beach and get in the sun and experience life, because this is all just for fun, but this is good organizing and good communication here on Clown House, as opposed to listening to heated conversations about nothing and roast rooms. I mean, you can roast me all you want. I'm down to be roasted.
So, okay, so in my 4-minute response, well, not 4 minutes, 2-minute response, you somehow did not answer the question that was asked, right? Completely avoided the actual question and ran around in circles, kind of repeating the same thing you say over and over again. You're in a room asking for money for your campaign. You should be expecting people to ask questions and not be.
Go ahead, ask tough questions.
People to give you money to help you launch whatever you want to launch. I asked the question, I didn't get an answer to it. That's fine.
Okay, let me ask you a diagnostic question. We're $37 trillion in debt. What is 37 times 1,000?
Why does this matter?
Because it's a diagnostic question to see how good you are at mathematics, or maybe accounting, or forensic accounting. I don't know, Mother. We're trying to figure out your position on the $37 trillion in
question
debt.
I asked you, and then we circle back to your other questions. Answer the actual question I asked you.
Okay, well, first of all, you were in the Matrix. Maybe you didn't hear anything. And I feel like I've already addressed your question. That's fair. Are there any other questions from possible donors today to the campaign to elect John Kitover?
Well, I have a question about this desire to know why living in one area and representing another area, why that's a conflict. People oftentimes can live in the suburbs and drive to work in the city. That doesn't mean that they can't contribute greatly to the company that they work for. So I just don't understand where somebody resides, how that impairs their ability to be able to do their job.
This is wild for this to be a response, because Republicans consistently trash Democrats who send money to elections across different districts in the country, because they don't understand the needs of the local people. They don't understand what is actually going on in that district. I find it to be quite silly of a statement for someone like John, who lives almost probably an hour away from this district, isn't even going to bother to get in his car and won't drive over there and actually understand.
We're going there, Mother.
Ask for fucking money.
But Mother, another perspective. See, you said he lives an hour away, as if it's a long time. He only lives an hour from it. Only an hour.
Only an hour, and it doesn't bother to go and check it out.
Only an hour. Listen, but he cares enough to step up and make a change. It's like being a stepfather.
So, Mojo, we've gone through this, though. We've had candidates come on Clubhouse or people that said they were running for office, going against somebody who had a 92% approval rating in a certain Texas district, who asked for money and funds on here, who went by the name of Tom Slocum. Yeah. You had Christian Lamar. You had a whole lot of libertarian people who asked for a lot of money, including buying a wheelchair for them, and then running for their campaigns. to one of the rooms you pinged me into, listened to the guy, and he was talking about how he's just trying to get signatures and ballots and needed money. And I sent $5K to him to help him get kicked off. So, I mean, it is only fair that you, if you're asking people like me who will drop $5, 10, 15, 20, $25,000 to a candidate to help get them springboarded, you're asking for that kind of donation to John Kitover to run for the 16th district and do not have any idea what Camera Park and what's going on in the Oriental Market area and what's happening over on Haynes Ridge. Those areas there, I mean, those are crucial questions that, Nicholas asked, and he should have an answer if he's asking and soliciting for funds for an office seat where I'm currently looking up and I don't see him registered. So I'm just confused as to where he's registering his election potential since he's asking for money on an app.
Have you been to Ballotpedia?
Doesn't he have to register with actually the state of Illinois?
No.
He is registered, but by the way, the FEC filing, he's only required to fully file with the FEC after collecting the first $5,000 in donations.
Ah, okay. This time, I'm gonna pass. I don't see. I won't be donating one penny to that because, I mean, again, Nicholas has some pretty pertinent questions. And even if you live an hour away or only an hour away, you should know about your backyard and the issues that are facing those people in those districts. Otherwise, you sound more like AOC and less like somebody worried about their constituency.
Got it. All right, well, you're out for today.
Brett and I agree that's an uncomfortable place to be in the world because Brett and I rarely agree on it.
Okay, you two have dragged this campaign down just enough for the moment. I encourage everyone to click the link in the chat, view the FEC registration. There's a lot of accusations from people here that regularly make death threats every single day to people on this app. Apparently don't even know what they're talking about when they're making death threats all day long on here. So that's okay that you're out of the campaign for today, but I pray for your peace. I pray for your health, your wealth, your love. And just because you don't live somewhere doesn't mean you can't help the people that live there. I am living where I have to live. If I could live in a beautiful house in Rockford or Peoria, I would love to live in a beautiful house. Tell you what, if I get into Congress and have a $200,000 a year salary or $175,000, I will actually rent an apartment or buy a house if I can in Rockford or Peoria. But right now I live in a beautiful house that I own and then I have to manage here and do all the landscaping and help with every little detail. So unfortunately, I can't get out there and live out there. No, I'm just telling you, Brett. Brett, I'm just saying. Brett, the point is, I may not live in Rockford or Peoria, but I want to represent the people that live there.
Somebody asked you what are the chief priorities and concerns of the people in that district. That's all they ask.
Well, your mortal enemy, some little dork on here named Keegan, who you have no voice control with and are constantly saying, I hate to tell you, Brett, if you look up the law, making death threats on social audio chat apps is illegal. That is illegal. You cannot do that on the internet. Look it up, Brad. I know you're concerned about laws and jurisdictions and precincts and geographic proximities, but on the internet, in the ether, making death threats on the daily in every other sentence, it could be Tourette's, it could be a traumatic brain injury from service-connected event, but it is illegal.
So it's a nice way to deflect. So I'm going to recommend that nobody give money until he can actually discuss the top three issues that are affecting the people of this district, the 16th congressional district, till he can actually outline the major concerns that are affecting those, particularly those in the, particularly those that are, concerned about the immigrants being shoved into warehouses that are filled with asbestos and have been there for 50 fucking years. That's going under Pritzker's possibility. They asked about unemployment. 16th district, even under the current Republican, is struggling there with employment opportunities and jobs. Dollar stores are great, but that's all right. The redistricting, it actually may disappear in the next year or so if Pritzker gets his way. but they've already redistricted the hell out of this, and so I mean, I think you should, understand, McHenry County and a few others before you're soliciting funds on Clubhouse and try to get people to believe you're actually running a serious campaign other than just grifting. You sound more like Kamala Harris in her first run than somebody who's really serious about running. But maybe that was your overall intent.
Listen, I did everything I could possibly do for Donald Trump and JD Vance on this app, and we smashed Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. And I got to tell you, Augustus Palante, who's working with this campaign to elect John Kitover to Congress, he helped Secretary Kennedy get to where he is, and Kennedy gave his votes to Trump. So I got to tell you, Brad, I've done a lot, and I think that people on this app have successfully regime changed this government, and we have Donald Trump and JD Vance and his entire cabinet because of people on this app battling these liberal, populist, socialist, Democrat demons. The Kamala Harris cackling demon of thousands of witches on this app and all the freak shows on this app like Mother. We defeated you. Trump is in office. And I got to tell you, I believe that we have to stop borrowing and stop spending. It's not the Republican way. It's not the American way. Plunging us up into further debt at $37 trillion is anti-American. And a lot of the TDS people have ADS, which is American derangement syndrome. There's a lot of people with ADS on this app. I'm not one of them. I want to stop the borrowing and I want to stop the spending. I'm running for the 16th district in Illinois for Congress. Brad's a no today, but I hope you'll be a yes tomorrow because we need at least $1 from you, Brad. We need your help. We need your support. And Mojo, as the independent contractor, helping with this campaign, who is organizing these fundraising bombs in town halls. Shout out to you, Mojo. I hope everybody has more of your positive vibe. No, he doesn't work for the campaign. He's organizing clown house rooms, fundraisers, and I thank you, Mojo. It's such a positive vibration. It's better than listening to never-ending death threats between a grown man and a child on a social audio chat app. Sorry, Brad, but you're wasting your time here on this app using profanity, vulgarity, and death threats. That's my opinion.
Well, that escalated quickly.
No, not really. It just is called deflection. And, again, he was asked a simple question. Nicholas said, what are the chief concerns for the 16th Congressional District of Illinois? You live an hour away. Can you express those? He can't. He talks about the $1 trillion debts. He's soliciting funds off a Clubhouse for a campaign. I mean, yeah, I'm sure there's probably some legality that he's probably gone through, but maybe not. I don't know. Overall, I would say that donating to you, no, I wouldn't. I've donated to candidates on here. I've actually donated to Christian Lamar's opponents. I've given a lot of money to his opponents because I thought he was ridiculous and he thought he could piss me off one day. So I said I was going to donate to his opponents, and I didn't give a shit who. And I dropped about $10,000 into his opponents' pockets.
Wow.
So
well, I like Christian Lamar on this app. I think he's a good speaker, and I've heard him say a lot of things that I agree with. But what was it that he upset you so much that you gave $10,000 to his opponent?
He wanted to have Trump, and he was going to advocate for having the federal government determine who and which group that would be aligned to be able to conduct business in the United States and who their customer base would be. That was his overall perception. And he had pissed me off. He also pissed Roger off that day because Roger got really fucking heated. A whole bunch of people got heated that day, and I said, I'm going to donate to your opponents because, quite frankly, I don't want you on there because all you're doing is presenting communism under a Republican garb.
Well, I say turn that frown upside down. Take the deepest breath of the day. Hold it for 10, not 11, 10, not 9 seconds. Click that link above and give $10 to the campaign to elect John Kitover. The link is in the billboard at the top of the room. Change now! Donate $10 to elect campaign candidate Congressman John Kitover to the 16th District of Illinois. You've heard me debate a lot of people who don't like me. And I believe that one of the primary reasons why people don't like John Kitover is because he has recorded you talking on Clown House for 5 years. And now he's running for Congress. And Mojo, that positive vibration, is creating fundraising rooms nonstop for the campaign. He's flying out Marshall Rankin to train door knockers so they can go door to door to door with the procured list of all the voters.
Not coming out to help you.
Marshall said he'd come out last night, Brad. I need you to fly out. We need security for Marshall out on this campaign. I need you to be chief of campaign security.
We need security for Marshall.
I know Marshall's going to help you in any facet of your campaign.
Well, Marshall, the man of the hour is here. Marshall, what say you? Hello, Marshall. You might be on mute. Let me refresh the audience. Last night, Dr. Mojo here, that super positive Mojo vibration, confirmed with Marshall that if everything was paid for, Marshall would come out and help the campaign.
Like I said to Roger earlier, I'm gonna be busy for the next month, so I probably don't. But I did call in and do an instructional if you want to talk to people. But I really don't have the time to fly up to Chicago. Unfortunately.
Well, that's okay, because Clown House is a decentralized campaign network. You can train the legions of volunteers right through Clubhouse, Marshall.
I can train the phone representatives, John. You're welcome.
Yeah, you have to train door knockers on which finger to use to ring the doorbell.
It takes all of about 2 minutes. Extend your index finger and hit bell.
Oh, I'm sorry. Some of you may be unaware of why Roger, aka Mojo, the super positive vibration, has decided to allow me in these rooms as opposed to kicking me, creating fundraising rooms when I record rooms. And part of the reason why he's doing that is because of the Anon or anonymous feature here on Clown House that allows anyone to join a room anonymously. You never know who they are, and they could be live streaming and recording the room. So therefore, by default, he has granted me this opportunity to use this platform and help organize fundraisers and money bombs for the campaign to elect John Kitover. JB Breska down there, a Clown House supermod and great organizer of rooms and debates, is our biggest campaign contributor and one of my most greatest YouTube moments, and making incredible records and recordings with JB. Thank you, JB. God bless you. The people in the 16th district, thank you.
Some people are resistant to change, and I've heard this manifest in different ways throughout the last few days. I just wanted to say that that's okay that you're resistant to change. This campaign's going to be here. You'll have an opportunity to donate today, tomorrow. So just pray about it. Ask your deity of choice what they think you should do. And then just listen. The Spirit will whisper to you.
So I'm confused. Why did you use a military guy on your ballotpedia with the last name Kitchen on his tags and and the certificate as well? And then try to pull that off as your sub, because you also know that is, you just sent somebody to prison for making up a false claim about themselves. They actually sent him to prison and removed his seat, so he lost that one. But you do know that that individual is still active duty from the profile that you picked. You know that they're still in the service, right? You manipulate.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Active,
I don't know what you're talking about.
Ballotpedia picture?
Yeah, that's me. That's me. That's John Zachary Kitover. It's me. Sorry, Brad.
It's Kitchen.
You It's not Kitchen. It's John Kitover. Do you want me to send you my DD214?
Your tag says kitchen, dude. Look at your image.
Brad, it's a blurred photo. It's old.
Yeah, I'm confused as to why it says kitchen.
Brad, there was no cell phones back then. That's done with an actual digital camera.
I know how they're done. I was there, dude.
Brad, do you want me to tell you my military experience and my college experience? I'm more than happy to.
I want you to explain to me why your name tag says kitchen and your name says Kitover. I want to know why the name tag on the uniform of the gentleman in your photo says fucking kitchen, because I can blow it up and see it from here. And you have John Kitover as this thing. I want to know why you're soliciting funds under that. Because quite frankly, I get it, Mojo. You're having happy hour, but you should have picked a better candidate for that one, because he shouldn't have posted a military photo. Because you knew some veteran was going to come in and look at the nameplate and start there and look at the insignias, look at the medals, and make sure those were in order. And then all you have to do is a quick Google search, and some of us have access to actually look up files. And we can find active serving individuals who have Instagram accounts that, for instance, are posting from fucking Germany today. And you somehow think that that's going to win. So no, I will not be donating. I recommend no one else donate. And I would oppose this campaign. Because
Okay, Brad, I think you slandered me enough. I'm going to have to, reply to you. I will respectfully reply to you. I'm going to tell everybody here my military history and my collegiate experience. In 2001, I went to the Citadel in Charleston, South Carolina. And as a freshman at the Citadel, you're known as a knob, which is like a polished door handle. And right now, my head is glistening. It is shining light. My bald dome. It looks like I've become a real human knob. So I graduated the Citadel in 2005 with a Bachelor's of Science in Business Administration, with a 3.75 GPA, I believe, maybe 3.69.
John, what program were you in at the Citadel? Could you tell me?
I'm telling you right now.
No. Tell me what program you were in that
It's called-
afforded you the opportunity to, quote, be an officer.
Yes, I got commissioned when I graduated as a second lieutenant in the U.S. Army. I was commissioned in the Army National Guard. I took ROTC for 4 years. That's right. It's called ROTC. That's what you do at the Citadel. You can choose Marine Corps, Air Force, Navy, Coast Guard. I chose Army.
You can, huh?
And I also joined what's called the SMP, the Simultaneous Membership Program. And in the summer of 2001, from June to August, I completed infantry training at Fort Benning, Georgia, an advanced infantry training there. And then after that, I got to go to Australia and study at Bond University in the Gold Coast on behalf of the Citadel. And then I transferred all those credit hours back to the Citadel, and then I finished up the Citadel in 2005. And from there, I went to Officer Basic School at Fort Huachuca, Arizona. That's in the southwestern corner or southern area of Arizona, right on the border, where I watched dozens of Hispanics crossing the border illegally, even through the U.S. military
Okay,
base.
can we stop this here? So you gave a whole expose about how you became an officer. So can you explain why the soldier in your photo that you're using to raise campaign funds is an E7 rank?
I'm not sure what you're talking about. You'll have to put a link in the chat, or you have to update your
It's on your
PTR.
Wikipedia page.
Yeah, that's me
So
during
yeah.
my commissioning ceremony at the Citadel.
No, that's not.
Yes, it is.
E7.
Yes, it
It's an
is.
E7.
No, that's me in my Class A's getting
Again,
commissioned.
I will call fraud on this one.
Okay, call the FBI, Brett. Go ahead, do whatever you want to do. I don't care.
FBI for anything. I'm just saying you're bullshit. I think you're one of a million people that says they're going to run. I think you're.
I am running, and I was a second lieutenant in the U.S. Army National Guard, a sergeant in the U.S. Army National Guard, a PFC, an E4.
That's an E7's photo.
Okay. You see the gold bars? You see those beautiful butter bars on my epaulets? You know what they call those
That's an
epaulets?
enlisted man's photo, dipshit. This is how you can tell people haven't been on the service, because you can't identify an officer from an enlisted person.
Okay, Brad. Sounds good. Everybody, if you want to go to John Kitover on Instagram, you can watch about 90 videos of Clubhouse recordings, and then you can see my actual pictures of me getting commissioned at the Citadel in Charleston, South Carolina. If you want to talk to the dozens of classmates that I have who also commissioned into military
I'm just
service,
gonna start
talk to
calling you
those
Santos.
people. If you want to see more pictures of me in the Army, I'm more happy to post more pictures of me in the Army. It's up to you how far you want to take it.
A lot of pictures of good men and women who actually wore a uniform, but you don't know the difference between an officer's and an enlisted man's.
Brad, look at the gold bars on my shoulders, Brad.
Right side. Those epaulets aren't what you think it is.
Oh, it is. Those are the gold bars when you get commissioned. And then I got a silver coin. And then I got a silver coin, and I got my first salute as an officer.
Yeah.
Brad, I know you don't. I know you're not an officer, and you don't know what it's like to get your first salute as an officer. But when I got my silver coin and I got my first salute, it was, fantastic.
I'm just saying you're full of shit. I think Mojo had his fun, and I'm just gonna say, hats off to the man that's wearing that uniform, which is not John Kitover. It's a guy named Kitchen, who's an E7, because you can see his rank right there. That means enlisted. I'm not too familiar with all the ups and downs of the Army. I was never in that one, but E7 would be a chief in my area. More specifically, it would be your first step as a chief. So it's after E6, which would be a senior petty officer. So I'd have to get another Army NCO to come up here and just go through whatever they have.
That's great. That's great. I can't wait to get more Army veterans into the campaign, because I know there's a lot of Army veterans that are sick of the debt and the never-ending wars and the civilization rebuilding in other countries. I'm sure there's a lot of veterans who agree with me. And if you want to see my driver's license in the bottom right where it says veteran, you can see that too. If you want to see my VA card where it says service-connected disabled veteran, you can see that too. It's all up to you, Brad. I'm totally transparent. You can come to Illinois, come to Chicago, inspect all my records, my boxes of VA medical documents, my boxes of Army signature contracts. It's up to you, Brad. I am totally transparent and willing to prove to you whatever reasonable doubts you have. I will beyond 100% prove to you.
I totally believe you that you are special needs and you have some retarded things. I literally, you spend an entire room showing people that you can do headstands in your Fruit of the Loom underwear. I'm fully capable of recognizing that the fact that you walk around and have 30 phones that are all streaming, and somehow or another you're in special needs camp. I get it, and I get the joke. It's kind of funny. But I'm not going to donate, and I wouldn't ask any of the Republicans on this side as some sort of butt of a joke to actually donate to you, because again, you're full of shit, and I don't like fucking people on this app being conned out of more money than they already have. So I do think it's a bit of a sick fucking joke, and your hyperbole and your moral standpoint, I think is kind of shitty. So again, you're trying to dupe Republicans. You got what'd you say, $500 the other day? Maybe you did, maybe you didn't. I don't fucking know. But I hope nobody donates to you on this.
Well, thank you very little, Brad. Thank you very little, Brad. Brad, I just gotta say.
You did very little.
That's okay, Brad. Brad, I have towed the line with really intense drill sergeants. I have had my ear yelled in more times than I can remember. I've been spit in the face more times than I can remember. And I realize that this app is a self-roast. It's a barbecue. And I want to welcome everybody to the barbecue party. This is the roast of candidate Congressman John Kitover running in the 16th District of Illinois. You've just heard a brief little sample of this roast. This barbecue party is just getting started.
Can I ask what other changes you plan to make in Illinois?
None, because all he wants to do is collect the money so he can afford his spring bill that's no longer in service.
I've heard about the budget stuff. I want to know what other changes you're advocating for. The other problems in the state.
Well, he's spoken about easing the occupational licensing fees, as well as civil asset forfeiture, things that would really help people in marginalized communities, such as the Black.
I will be right back. I'm going to go make myself a fresh cup of coffee. This roast has gotten me thirsty.
Yeah, I feel sorry for Kitchen. I mean, I guess I should go to the congressional districts and say that, hey, there's a little bit of fraud, there's solicitation on Clubhouse, and report this even to Ballotpedia, and then say, hey, there's this guy, John Kitover, who's using a photo and name of an individual who is also too stupid to actually remove the name of the soldier in the name tag. And that said he was an officer, which no wonder why there's some comments pointing out, and he can't even read enlisted man's uniform on there. Fucking miracle! I'm amazed. And then claimed to go out through the Citadel, and that he's gonna make change. But the best part is using a fake name, using a fake image, and using all that. I believe is a crime, and soliciting funds. I believe that is actually a crime. I do believe we've prosecuted people for that multiple times in the past. I'll have to ask a lawyer.
So I take it you won't be making a donation today, Brad?
Nope. And I will encourage every conservative on this app who's ever listened to me and anybody else that if you donate, you're retarded. Don't donate. It's not a special needs fund. This isn't the Special Olympics. You're not helping some kid get a wheelchair. This is just going to be some retarded troll thing so the guy can buy more, like fucking cell numbers or whatever it is this guy does. Again, the guy here, John Kitover, danced upside down on a phone in a video and thought it was fun with his pea-stained Fruit of the Loom underwear and used to do yoga poses on that while talking about how the girls he banged last night. So this is this guy. He's not winning anything, and he doesn't want to make changes. It's just a fucking clown house grift, like he always does.
Well, I gotta say, it's better to be friends for life than enemies for an hour on Clown House. And Brad, I want to be your friend. I want you to donate to the campaign to elect John Kitover. Just $1. $1 could change a lot. In Judaism, they call it tshuva, which is a donation for charity, a nonprofit. And your voice is my voice. I think that this campaign is your campaign. I'm fully transparent. We are an hour and 21 minutes into multiple YouTube live streams. Last night, what's that redhead's name? Dystopia, or what is the name she goes by? Anyways, she said she agrees with a lot of the things that I was saying. And then as she roasted me, I created a YouTube reel for 3 minutes, and I told her we're going to use that roast in an advertisement. So, Brad, I also want to thank you. Even if you're not willing to donate $1 or $10 or $1,000 to this campaign, your voice, your identity will be used in an advertisement that we run on Google YouTube in the 16th District of Illinois. So just because you can't donate your $1, you sure can donate your voice and your identity to this campaign. And I thank you illicitly, explicitly.
What do you plan to do for the education problems in Illinois?
That's a good question. Right now, talking about Republicans, it might be wise for us to go and give Alan the pitch. But go ahead and answer Ashley's question. And I think what we should do is go over to Alan for and talk.
I don't know if I'm in the Matrix or if you are, but I only heard about half.
That was probably hear me now?
A little better now, but it's still a little choppy.
I was going to refer to Joe B on school choice, and I'm a big supporter of homeschooling. I have a huge library in my house, and it's expensive and timely, to create. It took me 5 years to build this library in my house. And the biggest problem in Chicago, and what I assume is one of the biggest problems statewide, is the teachers' unions, the quality of teachers, their activities. I mean, they don't actually do any real education. They do communist, socialist, Marxist indoctrination, and they're good for nothing. I say, cut the snake's head off, get rid of property taxes, and stop funding these communist training institutes that these teachers put on.
But when it comes, that doesn't really answer the question, because I'm thinking of the gap in special education. That is something near and dear to my heart because, you know, I had a little bit of a learning disability. I had to take advantage of those services. I have a child that has special needs and, you know, she needs extra help at school. I have nieces and nephews that need help, you know, and the programs down here are, I mean, it's pretty much non-existent. And it ruins the future for those people that are in those programs.
Well, they are not doing that's so school by school. You know, some schools have a better special ed program than others. I would argue that kids like that would probably be better served in just a smaller school for starters. So whether it be a charter or a private, just smaller school. And in many states, I know Georgia's one of them. Many learning disabilities would qualify for educational savings account or something of that nature to allow them to go to alternative smaller schools. So I would say that's the direction I would go in over the public schools actually for them.
I was asking John because he's running in my state. That's why I was asking what, like,
No, he's not.
what he plans to, yeah.
He's not running.
I'm running in the 16th district of Illinois.
Not anymore, you're not, because I just submitted an inquiry to both Ballotpedia and the filing group.
Oh, okay. Wow, Brad. You know, I gotta tell you, you are going next level, and that's okay because we need positive, you know, opposition. I think you're a positive optimist like me, and I just think you should give $10 and let it go. 10, not 11. 10, not 9. $10. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I even highlighted that, you know, you're soliciting on the app called Clubhouse and Instagram and YouTube, and that you're also, you know, utilizing, you know, Roger as your campaign manager, and so that there does.
Again, Roger is not the campaign manager. He is organizing impromptu online social audio chat rooms to raise money for the campaign to elect John Kitover. Click that antidote button above if you've enjoyed this morning's content. Donate $10 or $1,000 to the campaign to elect John Kitover. That's right. It's all, ladies and gentlemen, Brad has brought the smoke. This roast room, this barbecue party organized by Mojo Positive Vibration and candidate Congressman John Kitover. I hope it's brought you the information you're looking for. Are there any other questions other than, you know, special needs children in schools? I'd be happy to discuss funding for that and why I think we should be getting more.
Since you feel okay to, like, you know, do you know, fake ranks and fake service records, and you like being that imposter, what do you feel about stolen valor, since you're stealing it quite elaborately and then collecting funds under it, which is a federal crime?
Listen, Brad, if you're going to accuse me of stolen valor, that could be considered slander, and I will take legal action against you. I went to the Citadel Military College of South Carolina. I was commissioned in 2005, and I was in the United States Army National Guard from 2002 to 2006. I'm more than happy to be totally transparent. You can come to my house in Chicago, and I'll show you the paperwork and open you up a German beer. How does that sound?
First off, fuck the Germans.
Hey, Brad, before we go to the beer, why were you in the Guard for only 4 years when it's like a 6-year enlistment typically?
I joined in March of 2002, and I got out in August of 2006. I was medically discharged in August of 2006.
Again, another lie. But
not a lie. More than happy to show you my DD-214, my commissioning ceremony photos, my infantry school graduation photos.
And the last name on the tag, the name is Kitchen, not Kitover.
Oh, it's Kitover.
And then he said he was an officer, but he put an Army enlistment uniform on. E7 rank, to be precise.
No, I did not.
Wait, Brad, you a baby. Let me dissect this. So 4 years in the Guard, you were E7.
No, I was not an E7.
No,
Brad.
he said he was an officer. He was a...
Oh, okay.
He said he was
Second
a
Lieutenant Butterbar. Second Lieutenant Butterbar in the U.S. Army, in the Army National Guard. First to the 118th Infantry, who?
You left as a butter bar after 4 years?
Left as a Butterbar.
After 4 years?
That's correct.
You cannot be a fucking butter bar for 4 years.
Oh yes, I went to the Citadel. I got commissioned in June of 2005.
I don't care when you allegedly got commissioned.
I didn't allegedly get commissioned. I got commissioned. This man you're talking to right now is a medically retired second lieutenant from the U.S. Army.
Yeah, you sound like a fucking clown, bro.
You got a clown hat in your PTR. You're a dunce. Look at you, Haitian. You're talking to a retired military officer here.
Yeah, stop recording the fucking room that's in 420 room. Stop motherfucking sending friend requests, you fucking widow. You gotta fucking.
Oh, you're upset about getting recorded. I see. Well, you do know that the National Surveillance Act is already recording this room and spends $1 trillion a year doing it. What was that, Haitian? Did you just call me a what? Sorry, Haitian. No profanity in the muff.
Yeah, fuck.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. We got to obey the rules of the House. If we don't obey the rules, we're just lawless. We need to obey the law. And no, Brad, I am not committing stolen valor.
Allegations made earlier, John. John, what about the allegations that were made in the chat about you dropping N-word multiple times?
No, not true. Sometimes I've held rooms and discussed the N-word, but never used the N-word because racism is wrong and bigotry is wrong. I love my fellow African Americans. I was baptized by an African American in the pool of the YMCA. I've worked with African Americans in the Army, at the Treasury, at Google, at Microsoft, and I gotta tell you, I love African Americans. Clip that one.
This has been fun. Again, I'm glad, the joke is at least explained a little bit. I hope everybody learns a lesson. Don't give money out on Clubhouse unless you can be there.
You know, Brad, I'm going to have to play the contrarian to your position. I think everybody should give John Kitover $1, $10, $1,000.
That contrary position.
Brad, you can't kick.
Where someone invite Haitian up because that was unfair of him. So I'm just gonna be a dick. But overall, this is why you don't give money to people on it, despite what they say. Because again, his ID that he's using under Ballotpedia, look at the link, says, guess what? Kitchen as a soldier's last name. The rank in the uniform is E7. He wouldn't be a butter bar after 4 years. Haitian is absolutely correct. And Haitian, I didn't invite you up, but I ran out of repeated things to invite you up with.
Yeah, somebody invite Haitian up. This is messed up to put him down there.
I said tonight, I'm not sure how the room runs, so I just gonna
move John down because he moved Haitian down. But again, this goes to the grifters and the scam things. Don't give fucking people money on this app unless you're prepared to lose it. I don't care if it's $1. I don't care if it's 10, 25, thousands of dollars. I mean, if you're going to invest your money into somebody, make sure you know and make sure it's for a cause you can believe in. And look things up first. Don't give money to fucking idiots like this. This guy's been on here for 5 years doing the same shtick. And it's just a joke to just see. And apparently he's saying he already got $500 off of people here. That's pretty sick. That's really ridiculous. And if you don't believe me, go to Ballotpedia, look John Kitover up, zoom in on the picture, you will see an E7 rank, you will see a soldier with the last name Kitchen. And then you can look up that soldier and you can see, you can view his Instagram photos with all of his little posts and all that
That's
stuff.
not an E7 rank, that's a military intelligence insignia on the front breast pocket or on the front breast lapel of my Class A uniform.
No, it's not.
Sorry, Brad. Yes, it is.
No. So,
Brad, you can say whatever you want, but it's slander to accuse me of doing,
I know it's
you know.
stolen valor. I'm going to call stolen valor.
Okay, well then it's slander.
I don't like
And we're
that.
going to file the first lawsuit out of the campaign!
When you fucking use a military man's fucking picture and then you're soliciting funds on that. That one
It's
I
me,
have
ladies and
notifications
gentlemen. I'm
first.
bald, I know. I
I
lost
have
my
some
hair. Stress!
I
It
don't
took
like
it away from me like
I
that.
just really don't. You're scum because you didn't know what happened to that soldier. You don't know if he died. You don't know if he died in the course of duty.
I'm right here. I'm alive.
Committed
I'm
suicide.
alive.
But you
I am alive.
And as far as I'm concerned, the joke's up, and it's pretty fucking disgusting that it went this long, and that you utilized a fucking veteran to have.
I'm alive.
And there isn't nobody, and you would get your ass beat in. I can promise you that. Go to your VFW post. and dare you to go out there and fucking talk the shit you do at the bar with a whole bunch of them before your teeth get fucking railed in on the bar there while they're drinking their whiskey.
He brought Nathan's army, isn't he? And maybe Eric?
Nathan is, yeah.
Yeah, well, we could ping him in here, couldn't we? And he could go over it.
This is the official roast party of John Kitover.
I couldn't remember Eric.
Cool's like, this shit's so wild.
I'm just making chillas and people.
And I modded Brad, FYI, because I really don't care how things turn out.
But yeah, I don't like it when people grift off of fucking soldiers. I just don't. And
Not
that's pretty shitty,
grifting.
man. You were gonna get caught. You knew you were gonna get caught. That's the whole point. You think it's fun, but you got money, so now you're
Gold butter bars.
Now you got a few laws to tangle. So I'm sure they're gonna find one of those IP addresses. I'm sure they're gonna find
Bring
you.
it, Brad.
I'm sure they're gonna
Bring
go
it.
looking because I'm not playing.
I'm not playing either.
Where's the picture here posted? An E7 in the Army, and the last name on the.
This one might go
on the
all
tag
day. I
says
might make
Kitchen.
this my super room before
That's
I
on
head out.
Ballotpedia. And the campaign says John Kitover.
No sharks.
The 4 year butter bar.
It's true.
I never heard of that shit before. That
It's
one
true. I'm an
must be
oddity in the
butter bar
military.
For 4 fucking years.
Not many people get their butter bars and then just get medically discharged like this guy. I'll be right back.
Alright, I leave it to you guys. Have fun.
I invited him back up because it's not my room.
Yeah, I have a question for him as well, if he doesn't mind. Is he still in the room? Who?
His piece of nurse here.
Yeah, John, I have a question for him.
Hold on, I'm looking at it, and the picture is quite fuzzy. Is he talking about his name tag? Because the name tag definitely says Kitover.
I don't know what he's talking
I was kind of looking at. It's if you click at the link at the top, you can see the picture in question.
I don't do links. Sorry.
I don't want to PTR somebody else's picture. If anybody else is comfortable,
What is Brad
I just.
talking about? What tag is he talking? The only tag I see that has a name is the one above his lapel on the right side that says Kitover.
And Brad said his rank said he was an E7 rank also.
Where's that E7?
I'm not seeing the pictures.
Yeah, okay, go ahead, Haitian. What's your question?
No, how long you been traveling, bro?
Well, I'm 42 years old. If you're referring to Freemasonry, I'm not a Freemason.
So why do you have an apron in your thing?
Oh, I'm a collector. I have a lot of books and a lot of artifacts and, records, all kinds of interesting information, collectibles.
Okay, I got you. You're the wannabe type guy, right? Wannabe.
Yeah, I'm the wannabe. The wannabe congressman, the wannabe second lieutenant in the U.S. Army. A wannabe. Takes a wannabe to know a wannabe.
Wannabe post-Masonic symbols and not even was fucking Mason. I got it.
I don't understand why this is being contested. That's clearly his photo. I can tell that's John.
Holly, welcome to the internet. Welcome to the roast. It's a roast. This app is a barbecue. That's what's happening here. And I'm okay with that. I accept the rules of the game.
John, I don't know you to roast you, bro. I'm just fucking really fucking with you. I can really give a fuck. But you
Oh, I agree. I don't think anybody should be on this app wasting their time. That's a you problem.
What is the rank on that thing you see? I'm not seeing the picture, period. I'm not looking for it. I'm not looking at it. Brad was saying he was wearing E7 rank, and he's saying he was second lieutenant. That's what Brad was saying.
on his lapel that don't have names on them. They're tiny, they're like small pins. And then above his right pocket, breast pocket, there's a name tag that says Kitover, but it's just a plain name tag. It's not like a ranking or anything.
Is it a dress uniform or fatigue uniform that you're looking at?
It looks like an officer uniform, like a green, dark green with gold buttons. And he's got a tie on. He's like accepting an award or something. Or
So the rank is there.
where would the rank be?
What do you see on the shoulders?
It's on the shoulders on the butter bar, and the insignia on the front is the intelligence insignia, which looks like a star.
No. That's between the brags. I didn't see the fucking picture, so.
Don't have pins. There's just like buttons. Kitchen. They tell me you can see kitchen anywhere.
Yo, Mad Cool. Put the shit in your picture on Mad Cool.
You can also go to Instagram, and my profile name is John Kitover. You can scroll past all the videos from Politically Correct of you Haitian talking, and then you can get to my actual military second lieutenant, commissioning ceremony from the Citadel. Totally up to you to figure it out if you want. But ladies and gentlemen, this is not a question of stolen valor. This is a question of stealing $37 trillion and $2 trillion a year that we don't collect in taxes. Go to johnforcongress.com or click that link above right now to give 10, not 11, 10, not $9. Thank you, Clubhouse, aka Clown House, like Haitian here with his dunce hat on our great President Trump.
I'm smart donate to you, man. Before Trump breaks, I can't do that anymore, bro. Real talk, about to send you $100, man. Sorry, Brad. Oh, yeah, Brad. John. Want to go back, John? Or should I call you playing Death Dice?
Wait, did you just say $100? I'm over here dancing right now. Please hold.
Yeah, but you said Trump was a great president, so I can't do it, brother.
Oh,
Can't send it down. I thought you was really working on some shit.
shucks. That's too bad. I was dancing over here.
Totally does, man. Yeah, dance. That's what you do best. Dance, boy, dance.
They say, join the dance and the partners will find themselves. I'm dancing again. He's dancing, dancing, dancing. He's dancing, dancing, dancing. Well, Hakima, what have you thought about the morning show for the campaign to elect John Kitover? Were you thoroughly entertained, Hakima? Ashley, were you entertained?
Very much so. But I am being serious. I am concerned about this state. I've lived here all 36 years of my life, and I've seen everything down here go to shit. Like, our farmlands are being overgrown because farmers don't want to do it. Like, farmers are moving away. There are fields that I grew up around that they used to drive through, and they were just growing every year, but this year they're weed piles, and it's sad. It's really sad down here.
Well, change now is a good motto. I hope Dr. Adams, who is supporting Darren LaHood, the incumbent, that we are trying to unseat and defeat, I hope we can convince Dr. Adams to change his position, because we need all the Clubhouse support we can get. Now, I know some people are going to flip against me on this app, because the contrarian position is always the best position to be in. And I understand Adams' position, but I think eventually we're going to win over Adams. And one night he's going to come gushing in. He's going to change allegiances. He's going to update his PTR to John for Congress. And we are going to take the 16th District of Illinois with Dr. Adams when he breaks the camel's back. I just have a positive vibration. I think Dr. Adams is such a great performer. This might just be a front. And eventually he will turn to the campaign to elect John Kitover, second lieutenant, retired, former sergeant in the Army. Will he win this election? But Ashley, I hear you what you're saying about the farming. I think we have to maximize, our farming, limit our imports, tax the imports, and make sure farmers make as much money as possible at, market rate. But, I'm no farmer. I'm running for Congress, and I work primarily in digital communications. So, I would say document what you're talking about, take photos, shoot videos, make awareness videos on YouTube, TikTok, and, that's what I'm doing. I mean, I'm constantly calling attention to the problems, the dysfunctional problems in government, the borrowing and spending, the bullshit contracting. So, social media and that court of justice is really the first court of deliberation and reprieve. And everyone has that ability to start networking and documenting and being a citizen journalist. So there's really no other way to do it, in my opinion. Even if I win this congressional seat or make the primary, I mean, you're still creating content about what you perceive, as being things to fix. So that's what most of these Congress people do. Most of them just complain and create, Trump crash out videos, but nobody's really documenting and recording the problems that they would actually like to be fixed.
Well, I mean, if something happens, like you're fighting an uphill battle up in northern Illinois, I'm telling you, because I think you're the only Republican on the ballot, aren't you?
Yeah, other than the guy that I'm running against, yeah.
Yeah, but if you ever get a chance to drive down here, it's like a 5-hour drive from you, to check out how bad things are down here and like how much they could be improved. But this whole end of the state is completely ignored. The schools are ignored. I worked in the school cafeteria, and I can tell you how, like it was canned food, it was frozen food. They didn't even turn on the stove some weeks, right? It was all oven stuff, and it's pretty bad. And then the special education down here is trash. I mean, there's a lot of concerns I have in this state, and it's making it so people that have lived here their whole lives are moving away because you can't afford your property taxes. My taxes doubled this year, almost.
What's keeping you there, Ashley? Family?
My grandparents. They're older. They took me in when they didn't have to, so there's no way I'd leave them.
Well, I love it. I came back in the room to hearing somebody railing against property taxes and the injustice that they impose. There is one person running for office that is in opposition to these said taxes. And if we really care about property taxes and the violation that has over property rights in general, I would just highly recommend clicking on the link above and throwing a couple bones to John Kitover so he can go and hear your voice.
If I had the money, I would donate, but I don't right now.
$1 goes a long ways.
It does. It also puts you in our database, so I can reach out to you and help us with the campaign digitally. And I know $1 may be a time waster for you, but if you get in our database and we get your email or cell phone number and you're open to receiving messages from the campaign directly, we need direct digital action just as much as on the ground foot action. So your digital footprint and your digital activity can be even more valuable sometimes than on the ground action. Your retweets, your reposts, your citizen journalism, you will be joining a forever campaign until you tell us to stop spamming.
Well, if you ever run down here in my district, I'd help knock on doors and everything if you could bring awareness to down here, because it's a waste. Like, it could
know who Darren Bailey is?
I think I've heard the name.
He's a Republican who ran for governor. He owns a large farm. He's kind of like our, who was that rancher guy in Wyoming who stood off against the government? They did a movie about him recently. But he's just a very politically active conservative farmer, and he did not win the governor's race, but he, made a good showing and organized more people, to the Republican Party of Illinois to hopefully, unseat and knock these Democrat psychos who are ruining the state with $200 billion in debt. The city of Chicago is $60 billion in debt, with hundreds of billions of dollars in liabilities, just like the federal government. But the federal government has $100 trillion in unfunded liabilities and $37 trillion in funded liabilities. But nobody cares about that. Everybody wants to attack the military record of John Kitover, second lieutenant Hunter Barces, as an officer, a medically retired officer from the U.S. Army National Guard. Mojo, you just missed a very exciting roast of campaign candidate Congressman John Kitover.
Thank you for your service, John.
Alex is my boss. He's been for as long as I can remember, too.
No, thank you for your service, John.
Don't thank me, Pockets. Don't thank me. Thank all the thousands of dead soldiers in Iraq and Afghanistan who died fighting for your freedom and liberty to give $1 to John Kitover. Don't thank me.
So, pockets. Let me just say, the best form of thank you, the most sincere form, is in the form of a donation.
Yeah, I was just sitting in there saying it in the form of giving some money.
Listen, I can't promise you that I won't make drastic cuts to Medicare, Medicaid, but for every dollar you send me, I will give back. Just, I don't know, does $100 billion sound fair in Pockets? How about that?
Well, I support what you're doing. I think it's just the fact that I am just more emotionally invested and not thinking as logically, because I do work with seniors and I'm very close with a lot of them. So I feel like my emotions do get in the way of my logic on all of this. But I do support what you're doing. I highly support term limits, which I called out on your website. I think that's a big deal, is putting term limits on people in office. So I highly support that.
Pockets, do you support it $1 worth? $10 worth? $100 worth?
Yeah, fucking do all of this.
Wow. Thank you, Pockets.
Ashley, do you ever have the opportunity to go to your local county GOP meetings, if you're on the GOP side or Democrat meetings?
I don't get a chance to because, trying to find somebody to watch the kids, and there's no way I'd take my kids somewhere like that. They're too hyper.
You're married though, aren't you? Can you watch them?
Yeah, but remember, he's on the boat. So,
Well, I don't know what he does. So he goes off.
he's gone for 28 days. Yeah, he's away for 28 long days. This time it was 5 weeks, though, because he went to school.
Wait, your man takes off for 28 days.
Yeah, he works on a towboat.
How do you
He's actually almost a steersman.
how do you satisfy your needs?
By jacking off.
I read smut.
Oh, that's cool. I was gonna point you to some resources if you need it. It sounds like you got it figured out.
Oh no, I'm 36 years old. I've done figured everything out. I'm good in that department.
Do you like rubbing out with your hand, or do you use toys?
Oh my God.
I think toys are the creation of the
Chase game. Hashtag game.
vibrators are the devil's toy. I feel like they give you false hope for what is reality. Like, it's no dude is going 1,000 miles per minute on my vagina. Like, it's just never happened. So I feel like, we gotta get rid of all these toys. Waste their lives.
I don't even believe in sex inside of marriage.
Now that is an honest answer for 36 years old. Amen.
Ollie, I got a question for you.
say that was an intense roast.
No, it's not really. Who
If
roasted you, Don? I'm so confused. Did I miss it?
Brad really roasted me because he was
Yeah, I'm
upset.
gonna go back to that.
He was very upset that he never made it to an officer status in the U.S. Army. You know, and I respect his service and I respect his strength and courage. But if you're going to accuse me of stolen valor, I believe that it's slander. And also, if you're going to come on here all day, every day, and make homicidal ideation, death threats against people, particularly young people who are recording you, and if you are a business professional, you do work in insurance or whatever the hell you do, I think you're an absolute madman to come on a social audio chat app under your legal name making death threats. I think that might not have repercussions for your career or job, etc. So, I mean, be careful, throwing stones. And Dr. Adams, I am 100% confident that we are going to get Dr. Adams to change over to the campaign to elect John Kitover to Congress and ditch Darren LaHood, the rhino and vaccinologist and super debt creator.
I just don't get what picture he was referring to. The one on Ballotpedia clearly says Kitover. I don't see Kitchen anywhere.
Yeah, and I Googled you, John. I Googled you. You're fucking everywhere. It's not really hard to find you. I was literally dying yesterday when people kept saying, like, you're not who you say you are. I'm like, but he's literally everywhere online. Like, you go to your YouTube, you see your face, you hear the voice, it's the same. I don't understand what's going on.
And the young man in the Ballotpedia photo that Brad referenced, who's accepting some sort of award, military award, is clearly John. The others are literally, obviously, John.
That's a commissioning.
So I'm very.
That's a commissioning ceremony photo. Yeah, that's when I got my butterburst pinned on.
Yeah, you can't take away that nose, man. You got a very distinct nose. Like, you can't copy that. I was confused as well. Right, Ashley? I mean, I think even you were in the chat, like, what the fuck is going on? Like, I just didn't, also
For his eyes, is he having a hard time seeing? I mean, I love Brad, but I'm just saying, he clearly did say Kitover. I didn't see any other place on his shirt that said letters. That was the only place
access to this information whatsoever.
Well, then I guess you won't be happy. I'll put $1 in an envelope and send it to you.
I just have cash.
Don't speak to the people in the goo. People that are well resourced, like Dr. Adams.
Have been, but I could be wrong.
Well, Dr. Adams he's a doctor for crying out loud. As a doctor, I'm sure he has an excellent salary. I think we can get Dr. Adams to part with at least one of his hard-earned dollars. Dr. Adams, please let us know once you click the button and you've given your support for John Kitover. Wallace, hopefully you've given. Wallace.
I'm also hoping Matt Cool can give. Is Matt Cool still in the room? No, he's not.
I don't think Matt Cool's as well resourced as Dr. Adams, but Wallace grew up in the same area that I did, and I know that living in that area, he's got at least one disposable dollar that he can donate.
You know what I have to say there, Mojo, is that I'm so grateful that my dollar is worth just as much as anybody else's dollar. Because I am currently in a country that used to be the first world country. That's slowly turning into the first world country. And I'm slowly turning into a second one. And I'm not very happy about that. But at least my money holds good.
Well, don't forget about the Clubhouse Anonymous. I think that by giving money to this campaign, it's a better investment than even investing in Clubhouse Anonymous because I already have a Clubhouse Anonymous, and if there are conversations that you'd like to anonymously listen on through my YouTube, Instagram, or X account, or Clubhouse accounts, you don't even have to pay the $5 to get the anonymous feature.
John, when you factor in every dollar collected plus the matching fund, what is the grand total that the campaign is at in less than 48 hours of kicking it off?
We're at $1,100.
Wow. And that's less than 48 hours. Imagine where we're going to be 2 weeks in.
I know. I will, I really want to optimize my time here and try to probably make, I have 2 offices in my house, and I never want to do more. I got to be in the other room and let these rooms run. I think disengaging and doing, controlling my time is the challenge with the stickiness of, creating these types of rooms. But, the Craigslist ads are not generating responses, so I have to find another way. It could be Facebook, and there's more work I need to do to get campaign volunteers. When I ran for committee person, I had people coming out of the woodworks to help me with this because there's a lot less people involved in geographic proximity in the Rockford area. But connecting with real people on the ground there that are sick of their neighborhood is quite fun.
I would reach out to a guy by the name of Kit Matt. He's an elected member of the state executive committee of the Libertarian Party, and just connect with him. Kit Matt, Mattes. You can find him if you look up the Libertarian Party of Illinois. It's on the website. Reach out to him directly. You can mention
information here.
holiday.
Ken Matz. Okay, he's got a Facebook and a website. Let me get to work.
He's also on this app, so he can develop it. He can come join any of these conversations up here. If that's easier for him. But a private conversation would probably be kind of beneficial. I wonder if your piece is going to donate. I know that she talks a lot about looking to help the black community. Maybe she's willing to vote in someone that wants the same thing she wants for the black community. Let's bring your piece up. Yes, your piece. John Kitover is running for Congress. You click the link above. He's hoping to do is make sure that the way the government intrudes in our lives, ensure that you see the way that they intruded in the lives of your people. You might find a great ally in John Kitover. But click on that link. That's the first step. And prayerfully consider a generous donation.
I have a question for me.
Alright.
No, you got it.
Mine's totally off topic, so do what you want to say before I
I was just gonna say, I would have $1, but the thing won't let me use my Cash App remotely.
You can use your credit card, debit card, Apple Pay.
I know, I just prefer, like, if it's not a well-known site, to use my Cash App, and I can't find my card.
Well, I do have Cash App, but it won't, go into the campaign account, unfortunately. I can put it in the campaign account and match it on your behalf, but you have to trust me to do that. People want to make sure that campaign, disclosure laws are adhered to.
Oh, dude, send me your cash app. I'll send you. Send it to me right now.
We have Brad back in the room who just conducted the roast of candidate Congressman John Kitover, and I thank you, Brad, for all that content. Even though you didn't give $1, your content is invaluable to the campaign. So I salute you, warrior, hero, Brad.
You did forget the fact that you used that sergeant, that E7. You used his picture before in season 2, right? You forget that. You went around and said you were a veteran multiple times, and then got caught lying on it. I believe there's even a video because you recorded it on TikTok. But you went around using the same photo. Way back when.
Brad, episode 2.
You realize all this shit, right? Like, there's nothing already.
Brad, I'm not an E7. I finished in the Army National Guard as a butter bar, an officer, which you did not become. You're not a gentleman. I am a gentleman, an officer, a medically retired U.S. Army intelligence officer, and former infantry sergeant in the National Guard. That's my military record, Brad. You can go on and on and on and on, but that's my military record.
So you're soliciting funds for a campaign as a veteran, correct?
100% correct.
Okay, so you realize that's a federal crime, right?
Go ahead and file the federal charges, and then you can have my DD-214s, and then maybe if you keep making death threats on Clubhouse, you too will have federal charges.
Bruh. So I gotta ask you, I'm confused. Okay, you said the photo on Valentina, right?
Correct, yeah. You used this before.
Okay. But Brad,
The veteran who actually was on that photo came
Brad, you may have a traumatic brain injury, but that never happened.
Brad, that is 100% John. I don't understand. That is definitely his face. And
Ollie.
it says Kitover, but wait, it says Kitover on the name tag.
No, it doesn't. It says kitchen.
Zoom in, it was 100%.
It does not. It says kitchen. You better look it up. And it's also not an officer's uniform.
It is. It's a Class A
I
uniform.
zoomed in, it says Kitover.
No, it doesn't.
Sorry, I put that
Run your AI out there with me. Other people looked it up and said, oh, it does say kitchen.
Brad, you're gonna have egg all over your face on this one. I hate to break the matters to you, but I am a veteran and I'm a graduate of the Citadel Military College in Charleston, South Carolina. I hate to break that news to you, but it's the truth. I'm not doing stolen valor and I'm not lying.
That's
And,
all right.
you know, don't know what to
So
tell you.
what's the oath you take? Just give me the first two sentences.
The oath, the swearing-in ceremony.
Where you come right in. The oath, yeah. Just give me the
I, John Kitover, do solemnly swear to uphold and, allegiance. It's not like I have it memorized, Brad.
Yeah, that's right, Holly. Thanks for playing. Coming in soon.
No, Brad.
Okay, Brad,
Sorry,
let me ask you
everybody
this
in
question,
room
Brad.
looked
Brad.
it up. It's definitely him. I'm like actually kind of concerned for you right now. Like, it's definitely the Kitover, and it's clearly his face. Like, there's just no doubt about it.
Pull a picture out, do a Google search, and it'll say kitchen on the last name. Ask your AI, identify this soldier and their rank out there.
Okay, I'll do that.
Yeah, Brad, I'm not lying, and I'm not making anything up. If you want to come to Chicago, I will invite you into my office and show you all of my military records, and show you pictures and prove to you who I am that I say I am.
Also, you wouldn't be a motor bar for 4 years in the military. That just doesn't happen.
I wasn't a butter bar in the military for 4 years. I was first a PFC, a specialist, and then a sergeant in the U.S. Army National Guard in the infantry. Then when I graduated college in 2005, I became a butter bar. And then I was medically discharged in August of 2006.
Guys, soliciting funds as a veteran or proposing as a veteran, that is valid.
It's not stolen valor. I'm a service-connect disabled veteran, Brad. What you're doing is slander, sir, and you're no gentleman. And if you keep doing it, I will find a lawyer in Chicago to send you a cease and desist.
Go ahead, try to find all of it.
Okay, great. Well, everything's being recorded, so the Court of Social Justice will prove that, you're making false accusations. You may have a traumatic brain injury, I don't know, but what you're doing is not genuine, sir. I'm being transparent here, but I am going to disengage from Clown House today. And, it gets very tiresome, and I need to essentially meditate, focus on my health, because a good congressional candidate takes care of himself.
Like I said, taking funds as a donation or soliciting funds and proposing that you were a veteran when you were not is stolen valor. Now you can pretend you're a veteran. And yes, when you go walk down the street with a uniform, but the problem comes is when you receive benefits or funds or you raise some kind of financial gain in it, then it becomes a crime. So guess what, buddy? I guess Roger at this point, since he's advertising your campaign, and anybody there, since you said you've raised, what, $1,000, $500, technically in violation of crime because you posed as an officer on an officer that you already used in clubhouse using one of your pretended to give.
Brad, it's not. I'm not posing. It's a fact. I hate to break the news to you. And I don't go around this app making death threats nonstop to obese Democrat liberal women who are, interrupting you every other sentence. I mean, if you want to tell people to grow a sense of balls, try to talk to people the way you'd like to be talked to. Maybe you can end the vicious cycle of death threats in your life.
Well, I'll tell you what, why don't you walk into any VFW post in Chicago, or better yet, why don't you go up to Great Lakes, which is right there in the backyard.
Brad, I'm in the American Legion, post 777. The commander, his name is John. You're more than happy to go hang out with the American Legion anytime you want.
There you go, Holly. So, like I said,
Like you said, Ugats. Brad, I'm not doing stolen valor, and what you're doing is slander. You know, grow up and stop doing what you're doing.
I also found from 2002, looks like John Kitover was with the Citadel. Let's see. The Citadel team captain lead by example. This is an article, and it goes on. He is listed as one of the top performers by sport. Says John Kitover baseball, maybe, or physical education 3.85, or no, or maybe it's John Kitover dash rifle. Sorry, 3.82 business administration. Is that right, John?
Yeah, I was on the NCAA rifle team, and you do a .177 caliber, put on these giant suits, and I think what else? Yeah, that was the main sport I did in college.
So there's confirmation of that.
And since evidence presents itself, Brad, are you willing to apologize as the evidence presents itself?
No, because this picture's already been used before and you got called out on it by the actual guy. This is not anything. He's not a veteran. He didn't start. He's full of shit. And he's collecting photos. He got called out for the shit season 1 and season 2 using the same fucking photo. Because he went on somebody's Instagram, one of the veterans that was on here, and took his photo. That's how you get this.
You know, Brad, I'm not going to go all day, but you may force me to defend my character that you're impugning and creating a slanderous libel trail on my YouTube live stream. But you know what? I let it go because I know that Clubhouse is a roast room. It's a roast show, and running for Congress takes a lot of strength and courage that you can only develop and perfect through military service, in my opinion. Having been to the Citadel, graduating as a second lieutenant, going through 4 years of ROTC, serving in advanced infantry training in Fort Benning, Georgia, working with generals, colonels, all the time in communication, going to a general's office, going to a colonel's office, doing real military communication. I mean, I don't know what to tell you, Brad, but I'm not doing stolen valor, and you know what you're doing is slander, and maybe illegal with your death threats on this app. And I hate to keep bringing it up, but Brad, I'm telling you, as a gentleman and a former U.S. Army intelligence officer, it is not intelligent to come on Clown House and constantly make death threats to people. It's not intelligent. It's just my opinion. But who am I to give advice? Just the stolen valor schmuck, according to you. So, you know, just telling you, don't throw stones and go look in the mirror.
Well, I also want to read something that I discovered from us. You know, I want to make sure that everything's above board. And I'm reading here that in 2002, John Kitover, a cadet athlete at the Citadel Military College in South Carolina, achieved a 3.82 GPA in business administration while participating in the rifle team. Like, how do you counter those things?
Yeah, that's what I just. And I mean, I guess where I'm stumped is it's so obvious that the photo is John. It's clearly John. I mean, it's not.
It's not. It's intention is the last name. Because again, I've been used this kid before. Again, you used this photo before. So how you want to believe it? I don't fucking care. You can be dumb and retarded too. I don't fucking care. You donate your time. I'm still Republican. This guy is fucking soliciting, making his entire listing. He said a bunch of shit that isn't even true. He can't achieve anything of what he said. His medical discharge, he was a sergeant major that we made into an officer. No, the motherfucker would be 50 fucking years old.
Sergeant Major, what are you talking about? I never claimed to be a sergeant major. I finished up as an enlisted soldier as a sergeant, Brad, a sergeant in the U.S. Army.
What rank is that?
E5 soldier. Who?
Okay. So you got your E5 here. You spent all that time and then all of a sudden Mustanged up and became an officer. Yeah, and then you went to.
That's called Graduating college at the Citadel, Brad. The Citadel! The Citadel! That's how you say it, Brad. The Citadel!
Underwear guy who's got pee stains on him with 15 phones in front of him. Like, yeah, okay.
Pee stains? What are you talking about? Pee stains? Who's got pee stains on their clothing? That's disgusting, Brad. You know, Brad, I described you yesterday as a heat-seeking missile.
Instagram photos, Holly, and you tell me this guy with the 20 phones in front
Yeah,
of
Brad,
him.
why have you never accepted my Instagram friend requests? I've requested you on so many of my accounts. You've never accepted.
Brad, I'm not defending who's not in the community. I'm not talking about any of that, whether I like it or not. I'm saying the name tag says Kitover. The face
It says
is John.
kitchen. It says fucking kitchen. I left the alternate again. I left the alternate after I fucking cooked his ass earlier. It says kitchen. Even Adam, even other people in the audience who said bullshit. It does say kitchen. Scroll up into the chat.
Everyone in here zoomed in. We all looked really closely. Actually, it's a little clearer if you zoom a little bit out. If it's closer, you get it, the fuzzier it gets. But it's clearly Kitover.
The soldier's name is kitchen. Literally kitchen. Now, if John changed the picture and did some fucking Photoshop real quick after I cooked his ass, that's different. But I'm talking right now when I'm looking up, this will pull it again. Yeah, I read it through fucking, I'll use this chat GPT, whatever this fucking thing is. It's kitchen. Comes in as kitchen.
Thank you, Hakima. So I'm going to put my Instagram profile in the chat. Scroll down to the bottom of the profile. You can see more military photos. And Hakima, and I'm going to upload a special military photo from Fort Benning, Georgia, where I'm with two African American men in the field taking a photo. We were good friends.
ChatGPT says the photo says Kitover, not kitchen.
Also, Hakima, the African Americans in the United States Army taught me how to crip walk. So if you ever come to the Lady Hawk, you can see my crip walk dance. I might spell out Hakima. There we have it, ladies and gentlemen, the roast of candidate Congressman John Kitover, former U.S. Army officer in the intelligence of the United States Army. That's right. Finished my time at Fort Huachuca, Arizona. Was medically discharged from Fort Huachuca, Arizona in August of 2006, ladies and gentlemen. That's how it ended my career in the U.S. Army National Guard.
When we first went to Ballotpedia, they pulled it up. It literally said kitchen. So I don't know what you guys are looking at because I still have it out the tab up here and I still have the photo. And it was kitchen. And again, this is the same photo dipshit used in season 1 or 2 of Clubhouse. He was like, hey, trying to hang around veteran circle, doing this fucking bizarre fucking bullshit behavior. And sitting there going and streaming people, and he was all treated this way. It's the same thing. Except now, he's just basically soliciting funds, posing himself as a veteran. This motherfucker never served. This motherfucker never put on a uniform. This motherfucker never went to the Citadel.
Well, not only that, you can do a quick little search online and you can find his background of going to the Citadel. I mean, like, I'm so confused. But this information's easily searchable.
Okay, Brad, PTR, because you're too lazy to look at my Instagram or you just don't know how, but look at my PTR. That's the actual officers, the lieutenant colonel and the major pinning my butter bars on. If you don't think that's me, I don't know what to tell you. I know I'm 42 now, and I don't have any hair, but that is John Kitover, aka me, in the photo. Look at my PTR. That's my commissioning ceremony at the Citadel after I finally graduated college. It's me, Brad. I'm gonna post more photos. It's me. Again. Brad, listen to the words that are coming out of my mouth. Okay, Brad, you're gonna tell me my life better than I know it. Okay, this is peak clubhouse insanity. I'm just gonna keep posting more photos. Please hold, Brad.
How many general orders are
Brad, please hold. I'm updating PTR photos.
you can even remember the
Carry out the commander's intent, you schmuck. Protect your people and protect the assets and the equipment, Brad. Those are the first 3 general orders. I hate to break it to you, but you're talking to a former butter bar here. I'm updating the PTRs. Brad, you're gonna lose this one. You're gonna lose it.
Yeah, I think you're a fucking moron. I think you're full of shit. Don't come to him. I know I won't apologize. Fuck you. Fuck them. Fuck him.
Listen, Brad, here's another PTR for you. This is me graduating the Citadel. That's my Citadel, senior uniform, holding my diploma. Look at that. And that's Major General Grinolds, a Marine Corps general.
Probably again, this isn't this motherfucker here.
It is, Brad. I don't know what to tell you, man. You're wrong, dude.
This is not Edmund again.
It's John Kitover, Edmund Dakin. I live on Edmund Street, you schmuck. Edmund is not my name. My name is John Zachary Kitover.
Prank that that Roger cooked up with.
This is not a prank, Brad. This is not a prank.
Hoping he gets to, maybe you're hoping he gets over the limit of $1,000, in which case the FBI actually does come to the door.
No, Brad. The FBI comes to the door and shoots me. All right, I'm going to have to notify the FBI in Chicago now that you're mentioning them. And I know the head, Ed Ross back here in Chicago. I've interviewed with him. I know who he is. No ankle monitor on this. That's just the strap to my paddleboard down by my boat that I'm headed to, Brad. I hate to break the news to you, but... No, I didn't name it Amistad. That was Mojo here. It's called Lady Hawk. Also, ladies and gentlemen, this is a lot of fun, and Brad, I gotta hand it to you. We need you. Without you, there would be no conflict, and it would be the most boring recording ever made. So I'm gonna post the YouTube live. You can see me in my Trump hat, in my Jesus Christ t-shirt that I bought on eBay, and you can see a former U.S. Army 2nd Lieutenant Butterbar. And if you want to call my roommate at the Citadel, who has used me for his background investigations as he's moved up into the military-industrial complex, I'd be happy to give you references, referrals, people that know me, that served with me. And I don't know what to tell you, Brad, but I'm not lying. I did not deploy to Afghanistan, and I did not deploy to Iraq, but I did serve with the U.S. Army National Guard here in Chicago, in South Carolina, in Georgia, in Washington, and in Arizona. That's my record, Brad, and I'm sticking to it. And I'm recording myself live, so if I'm sitting here doing stolen valor, as you suggest, I would suggest that what you're doing, sir, is slapping. And it could be libelous and result in actual financial damages.
I say you're full of shit. I say you're using stolen valor, and I say you're a fucking fake. Bring the lawsuit up because discovery comes into play.
Sounds good. Can't wait for you to discover the truth that you're a schmuck. I hate to break the bad news to you. Let me get this YouTube live so you remember where the video's at, because you're gonna watch this in the future after you join the campaign to elect John Kitover and give $10. You're gonna, Brett. There's gonna be a time in the future, so I'm gonna send you my DD-214s. I'm gonna send you my DD, and I'm gonna send you the last one, the discharge DD-214 that you use to get all kinds of benefits that you know about.
I don't care who you got. Again, when this actually comes out, and Roger and others admit that this is all a big scam, and Holly can sit down there and again, she can sit there and scream.
Brad, I wouldn't waste their time if this was a scam. This is a pretty shitty scam if it's a scam, let me tell you. It's a big waste of time if it's a scam, you schmuck.
I'm not your enemy. I'm really like.
at that time, I was running for committee person, not Congress. We've upgraded to the highest level next to running for senator, which hopefully we will, or one day we'll run for mayor of Chicago. You never know where this train's gonna go, Brad.
And have and then you actually were bigger than Chris Kyle, and then you knew more, and you actually served along. You gave this
Chris Kyle? I never served with Chris. No, you know who I did serve it with was Pat Tillman. He was in Fort Benning. Not with me in my platoon or my company, but we saw him at a distance. And again, this was in the summer of 2002 that I was at Fort Benning, Georgia, with Pat Tillman, who is now dead. And get this, I go to a VC incubator here in Chicago, and I meet the president of the Pat Tillman Association. And I got his business card, and I said, isn't it crazy that the family had to fight so hard to get the U.S. government to admit what happened to Pat? And he just shook his head. There wasn't much to be said, but I don't know if you saw this, but Pat Tillman's brother recently drove a car into a bank, I believe, in Arizona. I'm not making this up. I will get the link and post it right now. Please hold.
I would just ask everyone to do their own research, Google if you're offended. You can find out the truth about people. John Kitover did go to the Citadel. There's definitely nothing fictitious about that. What's up? What was that?
Thanks for alluding to actually speaking in this room.
That's right.
That's the claim. That's the claim.
No people, like I said, full of shit. And again, don't doubt me next time when I tell you don't fucking fall for this shit.
Well, we know what he looks like through YouTube. We've heard his voice, so we know this is the same individual as talking. And then if you pair that, what you see in the YouTube videos with the photos, military photos, that's the same person as well. So how can this not be the person with the photos when we can link it
It's
to
fake.
YouTube?
It's fake. Again, it's a big troll. It's a trick. It's like believing that Roger really fetishizes about Monica and thinks she's a wonderful person, and that he thinks she's beautiful. It's full of shit.
Brett, PTR, that's me with my commissioning documents, my oath and signature to uphold the U.S. Constitution. It's me in my new Class A uniform with military intelligence pinnings in the front and my appetites or whatever it is. I got the gold bars on there, so I'm clean shaven. Epaulets, you know. I was going to ask you, how do you say epaulets? I couldn't think about how to say it.
I thought an officer who was of military intelligence would have that. No. I guess your dumb fucking fake scamming, fucking stolen valor, fucking parading asses couldn't get the fucking lingo right. Next time, don't have a veteran on stage when you try this kid, and make sure veterans aren't in the audience.
Brad, I'm going to tell you again, if you keep slandering me and committing libel, I'm going to hire the best campaign attorney that this campaign can afford, and we are going to roast you on Clubhouse. But I wouldn't dare waste $1 that anyone has given to this campaign to sue it. I hope the constituents know that I would never waste $1 of this campaign fund. Wasting my time suing Bradley from Clownhouse. I'm not going to sue you. You should be worried about what you're saying on this app, Brad.
About taking care of the mentally ill. I will for sure. Press charges and say you are mentally ill. Get you locked up in that hospital so they have Thorazine and lithium injected into your ass for all that shit. And kind of continuous basis. And
Oh my gosh, Brad.
I think it'd be a fantastic.
Brad, relax. Relax, Brad. Relax. You know, I say friends for life. I agree with most things you say on this app, except when you're making death threats. It's the only time I don't agree with what you're saying. But I know you're a wealth of information. I've asked you where you get your information. told me all these amazing sources, and I was like, wow, this guy really cares and he knows a lot. So I'm not trying to have conflict with you, but I'm also trying to defend myself because what you're doing, sir, is slander, and you are no gentleman. Anyone who comes on a clown house social audio app to use profanity and vulgar against low IQ racists like Keegan or Pepe or screaming at that beautiful what's her face. Anyways, the ladies that you were screaming at, making them cry because they may be obese and you told them some unfortunate truths. All I can say is that I do not like making women cry. It makes me feel uncomfortable. What I'm trying to do is find a recording from 2 days ago when you were saying atrocious things to women. I don't know, that violates the rules of this house. I won't bring in old drama. Let's just be in the now. Enough.
Okay. And for those of you who is Cindy, I don't know what this fucking idiot's name is. Holly, Hakima, Roger. Yes, he was. I don't know what to tell you, sir, deputy. And yeah, well, of course, John. You never served. You never put on a uniform. You never had to fucking. You don't even know what the parts of your uniform are. So again, next time, pull the trick, but make it more believable. It's almost as believable as Roger wanting the whitest of white women and the fattest of fattest women, Monica, to have and flirt with, because damn sure well know that that's not Roger's type. I've known Roger for 5 fucking years. It ain't his type. So I mean, again, it makes it like it's a good troll. I'll give you that. And apparently you got a lot of people, including Holly, who's all butthurt about it. My type is evolving.
I'm not butthurt. Why do you? I don't understand why you think I'm upset.
Well, Brad, I don't know what to tell you, but I'll tell you what I did do when I was in Fort Benning, Georgia, after we did the bayonet, which is a 20-mile rock into a river where you go across a wire and then you assault a turret or a mill box. And I gotta tell you, we would have gotten wiped out. There was no leadership. The drill sergeants disappeared and they observed from a distance, and we would have all gotten wiped out. Nobody was formed in a way that would have prevented friendly fire. There was no. We were trained for many months, and I'll tell you, the after action ready review with our drill sergeants, they dropped their heads and were shaking their heads in total disbelief of why we all just got eliminated by this enemy position. And I had to agree with them. We were totally uncoordinated, and it was pathetic. But we were also exhausted, and I think everybody was just like, "This is it. It's finally over." But we did not take out that enemy turret, because I gotta say, I don't know what happened to us, but our conditioning, our training to do flank movements and assault positions, it just, we got wiped out. So, that was the bayonet. That's the culmination. And then from there, you go into the forest and you drink fruit punch, and you see all the banners from all the different military conquests of America, from World War II to World War I to battles in Cuba. You see all these incredible flyers and banners they put up, and then you drink fruit punch. That's how infantry training culminates at Fort Benning, Georgia.
Well, I bet you drink a lot of fruit punch. I mean, you are what you drink. That's it.
Brad, it's a metaphor for blood, not in a fruity way, Brad. Don't project. I'm just saying that you drink fruit punch because it's a metaphor for being bloodthirsty warriors.
I will add it to you, Roger. You did one of the most epic trolls on here. I mean, you surpassed a lot of people on here. I mean, you may have actually beat Alex New York. I think hats off to you, sir. You did it. I congratulate you. Again, running a campaign and having Edmund protect that he's a veteran and he's other people and he's got all these credentials, even getting Holly to believe it. Like, holy fuck, I
Brad, you know what else is insane? Coming on social audio chat apps and making death threats. That too could be illegal. Not just insane, but illegal. Now, I am accused often of illicit recordings, which could be violating Illinois or federal law. However, I have to say, in today's day and age, live streaming all your activities, especially your political activities, could be the safest move you make in anticipation of some type of lawsuit or counter lawsuit. Because every time you get sued, guess what you can do? You can countersue. So change is now, and we need you, the roasters of candidate Congressman John Kitover, to donate $10, not $11, not $9, but $10. Click that link above right now.
Do it. Go ahead, Alec. Give 100. Give 100. Give 1,000. Give 10,000. Again, I recommend it. Everybody believe in me.
I think I've done my work here. I've done it twice in one day. I'm on a roll. I've cooked Keegan yesterday. The army sucks anyway. Like, you guys are a bunch of beta bitches, so it would make sense that you're gonna try to grow the most beta bitch for the chair force. But I mean, it's a close tie there.
He was in the Navy, this guy.
I mean,
This
at
guy
least
was
get your
in
own
the
thing.
Navy.
But yeah, go ahead, Holly. Continue to do that. Have fun. I'm in this round.
I haven't even said I'm supporting him in any way, shape, or form, financially or otherwise. I'm just, like, why do you keep taking it all too far?
Edmund is a veteran. Is the newest fucking.
That was revelry there. That was me whistling revelry. There's no way I could whistle that unless I listened to that thousands of times. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've had another exciting edition of Clown House Drama. Heated conversations about nothing. People causing crises, causing slander, causing all kinds of chaos here on Clown House. Chaos agents, as I like to call them. Men that are not gentlemen. They don't know the first thing about being a gentleman, a soft man, a supple man. Someone who has stopped with the road raging, sick and tired of people lying and borrowing and spending on your behalf. If you're sick of people like that, then you need to give $1 to the campaign to elect candidate Congressman John Kitover in the 16th District of Illinois. Hooah! We got the quotation marks down there, or apostrophes, who is a friend of the show and a fellow Clubhouse recorder. He might be, We'll See is contributing. Thank you, We'll See. God bless you. Serendipity, if you want to mod me, I will remove the poll, which I will say 80% of people voted that I am a veteran. 20% say no effing way this idiot served. Now, I understand if you said that this idiot didn't serve because I am a clown. I'm a comedian, and clowns are stupid idiots. So, but there's a mystical approach to being stupid that I think maybe you're overlooking. But let me pin the link again, and then this will be the final campaign shout out for a donation today, because we have to get out for Clown House. This is beyond pathetic that we're here these many hours. I feel like it's not helping the campaign. It's hurting my physical body because I need to exercise. I have been skipping the gym because Roger Mayhem has been pushing it to the limit. Everyday mojo's positive vibration grows in strength in this house, in the muff. You see what I'm talking about? That super positive vibration. Okay, click the link above. Link has been pinned. The campaign to elect John Kitover, that's right, ladies and gentlemen, we have an EIN, we have a bank account, we have an FEC filing. To run for Congress, we have a campaign financial disclosure we have submitted, and we have raised $1,100, $550 yesterday, and I'm matching the other $550. Dr. Adams, I know we can convince you. Wallace, I think you've contributed. I thank you. And anybody else here who is considering it, just remember that I'm fully transparent. Tell me your priority, and I will put it in our collection of priorities. And we will see where your priority lines up with all the priorities and how we can financially optimize by winning this congressional district. I can tell you how Darren LaHood has optimized his congressional district by creating $20 trillion in debt. You can look at all the HR acts that he votes on and the top 10 HR acts in terms of dollar amounts. And there's his name on some of the biggest multi-trillion omnibuses in American congressional history. It's right there. Just Google Darren LaHood HR acts or go on Grok and ask, "Dear Grok, please tell me the largest HR acts that Darren LaHood has voted on," and then tag Darren LaHood and say, all the voters in District 16 should vote for candidate Congressman John Kitover on X. Go to John Kitover IL on X right now. See, all this heated debate with Brad, we could have just spent some time creating content and posting on X to attack and unseat Darren LaHood, but instead, we've got road ragers on this app who, once they get behind the wheel, they are incapable of going from point A to point B without yelling at somebody, getting in an accident, getting out of their car and punching out the other driver and screaming all kinds of profanities, vulgarities, and homicidal death ideation on Clownhouse. You know, am I deaf or am I just hearing things? Sometimes I don't know. I let it go. I don't live my life in fear. I don't think a jihadist or some mountain man screaming at me on a social audio app is going to come to Chicago and waste his time. But if they want to look at my DD214s, which I have to use all the time, I'd be happy to show them to you. Because, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not lying to you. I'm totally transparent and telling you the truth, making a real financial disclosure. Not just my financial disclosure, but a federal financial disclosure. Spending is out of control. Stop the borrowing, stop the spending. You know, I created a famous mantra on this app called CRT, BLM, LGBTQ. But the new one is stop borrowing, stop spending. Or stop spending, stop borrowing. That's the new mantra of the campaign. I know Brad has clubhouse derangement syndrome. He attacks everybody. And in the process, he's his own worst enemy. That's not how I live my life. I'd rather be poolside or at the beach right now playing volleyball, sipping on a daiquiri, doing yoga, not on Clownhouse, defending my honor, my character, and my sacred honor. I should have just said character and sacred honor, but you get the point. But Brad did read with us in the other room, so I'll give that shout out to Brad. You know, not everybody read a book with us. He did. So I stand with Brad even though Brad doesn't stand with me. That's true Christian character. What reward do you have in heaven unless you're willing to let it go? You know, you got to get that. You got to go the extra step in communication. I'd like to read a couple Bible verses before we end or I leave in the muff. I hope they're more helpful to you than anything you've listened to so far today. Because I get the feeling that it's just the Brad show or the Keegan show or the Jazzy show or the Roger Mayhem show or the John Kitover show. Right now it's the John Kitover show, which, you know, it's my favorite show. And I'm not narcissistic or self-centered. I just, you know, I like reading. That's when I like, when I'm speaking through reading a book, that's when I'm happiest. Oh, so take the deepest breath of the day. Hold it for 10 seconds. Listen to this. Every nursery rhyme contains profound magical secrets which are open to every one who has made a study of the correspondences of the Holy Kabbalah. To puzzle out an imaginary meaning for this nonsense sets one thinking of the mysteries. One enters into deep contemplation of holy things, and God Himself leads the soul to a real illumination. Hence also the necessity of incarnation. The soul must descend into all falsity in order to attain all truth. For instance, old Mother Hubbard went to her cupboard to get her poor dog a bone. When she got there, the cupboard was bare, and so the poor dog had none. Who is this ancient and venerable mother of whom it is spoken? Verily, she is none other than Bina, as is evident in the use of the holy letter H with which her name begins. Nor is she the sterile mother Ama, or Amma, but the fertile Ama, for within her she bears Vau, the sun. For the second letter of her name and R, the penultimate, is the sun Tifereth, the sun. The other three letters of her name, B, A, and D, are the three paths which join the three supernals. To what cupboard did she go? Even to the most secret caverns of the universe. And who is this dog? It is not the name of God spelt Kabbalistically backwards. And what is this bone? This bone is the wand, the holy lingam. The complete interpretation of the ruin is now open. This rhyme is the legend of the murder of Osiris by Typhon. The limbs of Osiris were scattered in the Nile. Isis sought them in every corner of the universe, and she found all except his sacred lingam, which was not found until quite recently, vide Fuller, the star in the west. Let us take another example from this rich storehouse of magic lore. Little Bo Peep, she lost her sheep and couldn't tell where to find them. Leave them alone, and they'll come home, dragging her tails behind them. Bo is the root meaning light, from which spring such words as Bo-tree, Bodhisattva, and Buddha. And Peep is Apep, the serpent Apophis. This poem therefore contains the same symbol as that in the Egyptian and Hebrew Bibles. The snake is the serpent of initiation, as the lamb is the savior. This ancient one, the wisdom of eternity, sits in its old anguish awaiting the Redeemer, and this holy verse triumphantly assures us that there is no need for anxiety. The saviors will come one after the other at their own good pleasure, and as they may be needed, and drag the tails, that is to say, those who follow out their holy commandments to the ultimate goal. Again we read, little Miss Muffet sat on a tuffet, eating of curds and whey. Up came a big spider and sat down beside her and frightened Miss Muffet away. Little Miss Muffet unquestionably represents Malka, for she is unmarried, she is seated upon a tuffet. It est she is the unregenerate soul upon Tiferet, upon Tophet, the pit of hell. She eats curds and whey, that is, not the pure milk of the mother, but milk which has undergone decomposition. But who is the spider? Verily, herein is a venerable arcanum connoted. Like all insects, the spider represents a demon. But why a spider? Who is this spider who taketh hold with her hands and is in king's palaces? The name of this spider is death. It is the fear of death which first makes the soul aware of its forlorn condition. It would be, some type of symbol, interesting if tradition had preserved for us Miss Muffet's subsequent adventures, but we must proceed to consider the interpretation of the following rhyme. Little Jack Horner sat in a corner eating a Christmas pie. He stuck in his thumb and pulled out a plum and said, "What a good boy am I." In the interpretation of this remarkable poem, there is a difference between two great schools of adepts. One holds that Jack is merely a corruption of John, Ion, he who goes, Hermes, the messenger. The other prefers to take Jack simply and reverently as Iacchus, spiritual form of Bacchus, but it does not matter very much whether we insist upon the swiftness or the rapture of the Holy Spirit of God. That it is he of whom it is here spoken is evident, for the name Horner could be applied to none other by even the most casual reader of the Holy Gospels and the works of Congreve. And the context makes this even clearer, for he sits in a corner, that is, in the place of Christ, the cornerstone, eating, that is, enjoying that which the birth of Christ assures to us. He is the Comforter who replaces the absent Savior. If there was still any doubt of his identity, it would be cleared up by the fact that it is the thumb, which is attributed to the element of spirit, and not one of the four fingers of the four lesser elements, which he sticks into the pie of the new dispensation. He plucks forth one who is ripe, no doubt to send him forth as a teacher into the world, and rejoices that he is so well carrying out the will of the Father. Let us pass from this most blessed subject to yet another. Tom, Tom, the piper's son, stole a pig and away he run. The pig was eat and Tom was beat and Tom went roaring down the street. This is one of the more exoteric of these rhymes. In fact, it is no much better than a sun myth. Tom is Tum, the god of the sunset, called the son of Apollo the piper, the maker of music. The only difficulty in the poem concerns the pig, for anyone who has watched an angry sunset in the tropics upon the sea will recognize how uncomparable a description of that sunset is given in that wonderful last line. Some have thought that the pig refers to the evening sacrifice, others that she is Hathor, the lady of the West, in her more sensual aspect. But it is probable that this poem is only the first stanza of an epic. It has all the characteristic marks. Someone said of the Iliad that it did not finish, but merely stopped. This is the same. We may be sure that there is more of this poem. It tells us too much and too little. How came this tragedy of the eating of a merely stolen pig? Veil this mystery of who eat it. It must be abandoned, then, as at least partially insoluble. Let us consider this poem. Hickory dickory dock, the mouse ran up the clock struck one, and the mouse ran down. Hickory dickory dock. Here we are on higher ground at once. The clock symbolizes the spinal column, or if you prefer it, time, chosen as one of the conditions of normal consciousness. The mouse is the ego. Mus, a mouse being only some. I am, spelled Kabbalistically backwards. This ego, or prana, or kundalini force, being driven up the spine, the clock strikes one, that is, the duality of consciousness is abolished, and the force again subsides to its original level. Hickory dickory dock is perhaps merely the mantra which was used by the adept who constructed this rhyme, thereby hoping to fix it in the minds of men so that they might attain to samadhi by the same method. Others attribute to it a more profound significance, which it is impossible to go into at this moment, for we must turn to Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall, Humpty Dumpty got a great fall. All the king's horses, and all the king's men couldn't set up Humpty Dumpty again. This is so simple as hardly to require explanation. Humpty Dumpty is, of course, the egg of spirit, and the wall is the abyss. His fall is therefore the descent of spirit into matter, and it is only too painfully familiar to us that all the king's horses and all his men cannot restore us to the height. Only the king himself can do that. But one hardly dare comment upon a theme which has been so fruitfully treated by Ludovicus Carolus, that most holy illumined man of God. His masterly treatment of the identity of the three reciprocating paths of Daleth, Teth, and Peh is one of the most wonderful passages in the Holy Kabbalah. His resolution of what we take to be the bond of slavery into very love, the embroidered neckband of honor bestowed upon us by the king himself, is one of the most sublime passages in this class of literature. Peter, Peter, pumpkin eater, had a wife and couldn't keep her. He put her in a peanut shell, then he kept her very well. This early authentic text of the Hinayana school of Buddhism is much esteemed even today by the more cultured and devoted followers of that school. The pumpkin is, of course, the symbol of resurrection, as is familiar to all students of the story of Jonah and the gourd. Peter is therefore the Arahat who has put an end to his series of resurrections. That he is called Peter is a reference to the symbolizing of Arahats as stones in the great wall of the guardians of mankind. His wife is, of course, by the usual symbolism, his body, which he could not keep until he put her in a peanut shell, the yellow robe of a bhikkhu. Buddha said that if any man became an Arahat, he must either take the vows of a bhikkhu that very day or die. And it is this saying of Buddha's that the unknown poet wished to commemorate. Taffy was a Welshman. Taffy was a thief. Taffy came into my house, and he stole a leg of beef. I went to Taffy's house. Taffy was in bed. I took out a carving knife and cut off Taffy's head. Taffy is merely short for Taftarath, the spirit of Mercury, and the god of Welshmen or thieves. My house is, of course, equivalent to my magic circle. Note that Beth, the letter of Mercury, and the Magus means a house. The beef is a symbol of the bull, Apis, the Redeemer. This is therefore that which is written, O my God, disguise thy glory, come as a thief, and let us steal away the sacraments. In the following verse, we find that Taffy is in bed owing to the operation of the sacrament. The great task of the alchemist has been accomplished. The mercury is fixed. One can then take the holy dagger and separate the caput mortuum from the elixir. Some alchemists believe that the beef represents that dense physical substance which is imbibed by mercury for his fixation. But here, as always, we should prefer the more spiritual interpretation. Bye, baby bunting. Daddy's gone a-hunting. He's gone to get a rabbit skin to wrap my baby bunting in. This is a mystical charge to the newborn soul to keep still, to remain steadfast in meditation. For in Bye, Beth is the letter of thought, Yod, that of the hermit. It tells the soul that he, Father of all, will cloth him about with his own majestical silence. For is not the rabbit he who lay low and said nothing? Patty cake, baker's man. Bake me a cake as fast as you can. Pat it and prick it and mark it with P. Bake it in the oven for baby and me. This rhyme is unusually accompanied, even today in the nursery, with a ceremonial clapping of hands, the symbol of samadhi. Compare what is said on this subject in our comment on the famous Advent passage in Thessalonians. The cake is, of course, the bread of the sacrament, and it would ill become candidate Congressman Kitover to comment upon the third line, though it may be remarked that even among the Catholics, the wafer has always been marked with a phallus or a cross. Okay, that's my mystical reading of the day. Wallace, Chris, Pete, Chris, Elke, I hope you enjoyed it. This has been the campaign to elect John Kitover Town Hall event, otherwise known as candidate Congressman John Kitover versus Brad Stoffelschnauschelberger, here on Clownhouse. Hope you enjoyed it. Okay, I'm not going to end the room, but I'm going to leave, and I'm just going to play the Tao Te Ching or something to that extent. I wish the room had replays, but my other rooms are on replay, which is, a good thing. So I hope you enjoyed the show. Let's just play a little Alan Watts.
Could you use a up to $750, find it at BioLife.
Thanks,
Up to
Chris.
$750 is waiting for you.
When a man starts to wake up,
Chris, post it to X and tag me and say candidate Congressman John Kitover, fundraiser, Brad versus John on Clubhouse. Tag Clubhouse, tag me. There you go. Thank you, Chris.
he naturally pulls away from the crowd. Not because he hates people, but because the usual way of connecting stops making sense. Most conversations revolve around status, gossip, or complaints. And once he begins to see through that, it gets harder to engage. He's not bitter. He's not isolating himself out of pride. He's just stopped chasing what others are still chasing. He starts to notice the performance in everyday interaction, the need to be liked, to belong, to say the right thing. And without making a big deal about it, he quietly steps back. People might still wave. They might still offer small talk, but the connection is no longer there because it was never real to begin with. He didn't cut ties, he didn't burn bridges. He simply stopped pretending. And when he does that, distance happens on its own. This is the beginning of solitude, not loneliness, just space between who he used to be and who he's becoming. He starts to see clearly what holds people together isn't real. It's not depth, it's not truth. It's habit, comfort, and shared illusions. People bond over complaining about their jobs, over chasing status, over defending ideas they've never truly questioned. He used to do the same. He used to think that was connection, but now it feels more like noise. He notices how often people speak just to avoid silence. How much energy goes into keeping up appearances? The constant need for validation, for agreement, for reassurance. And once he no longer needs those things himself, he sees how dependent others are on them. How relationships often survive not because of honesty, but because everyone agrees to keep the story going. He understands why people hold on to what feels familiar. He still cares. He still listens, but he no longer plays along. That shift, subtle as it is, creates distance all on its own. From the outside, he might seem the same. He still shows up. He's still polite. He hasn't disappeared completely. But something fundamental has shifted, and the people around him can feel it, even if they can't name it. They sense that he's no longer trying to impress anyone, that he's not looking for approval, that he's not playing the social game anymore. Some find it admirable, others find it unsettling, because he's no longer easy to read, because he's not performing for anyone. He doesn't flatter, doesn't compete, doesn't entertain, and that makes him hard to place. People might say he's distant, or too quiet, or that he's changed. What they really mean is, he no longer fits into the roles they've grown used to. They liked him better when he reflected their values. Now, he reflects something else, something still, grounded, and not dependent on being liked. People see him, but they don't really know him, because knowing him now would require them to see what he sees, and most people aren't ready for that. He once believed that staying connected meant staying involved, showing up, participating in conversations, maintaining appearances. But with time, that definition changed. As his priorities shifted inward, he stopped engaging out of obligation, not because he cared less, but because he no longer needed others to affirm his place in the world. He still values connection,
but not if it depends on constant engagement, emotional performance, or subtle negotiation for approval. He doesn't withdraw out of resentment. He simply no longer finds value in maintaining relationships built on pretense or expectation. To those accustomed to transactional connection, his presence can feel distant. But in truth, he's simply not playing the same role anymore. He no longer speaks just to keep the peace. He no longer sees himself through other people's eyes. What emerges in that space is not loneliness, but clarity. A calm independence that allows him to remain rooted even when others come and go. He's become honest, and from that honesty, a deeper kind of freedom begins to take shape. From the outside, solitude is often misunderstood. To most people, being alone signals a lack of friends, of purpose, of belonging. But for a man who has begun to see clearly, solitude becomes something else entirely. He no longer fills his time with distraction, just to avoid being alone with himself. He no longer seeks out constant company to escape discomfort. He's learned to sit in silence without needing it to end. What others describe as loneliness is often just unfamiliar stillness. They equate the absence of noise with emptiness.
Hey everybody, we're on the boat. We're on the Lady Hawk. We're at the beach.
He's realized that most of what fills a typical day, talks, tasks, and duties, is just noise pretending to be important. In solitude, he sees himself without distortion. There's no one to impress, no image to maintain, and that clarity, while uncomfortable at first, becomes a source of strength. He doesn't avoid people, but he also no longer depends on them to feel complete. This shift usually confuses others. They assume he must be withdrawn, disconnected, or even arrogant. But in truth, he's simply content with his own presence. He has faced the silence most people run from, and discovered it wasn't silence at all. It was peace. As he grows more inwardly stable, he becomes less predictable to others. Not by intent, but by the simple fact that he no longer participates in the subtle exchanges that define most social interaction. He does not mirror emotions to gain approval. He does not offer reassurance when it would mean denying what he sees. To those still dependent on external validation, this creates discomfort. They may interpret his neutrality as arrogance, his silence as judgment, his detachment as disinterest. In reality, he is none of those things. He's simply no longer invested in managing perception. Much of what people call connection is actually a performance, a mutual agreement to keep certain illusions intact. Once he steps outside that arrangement, he disrupts it just by being present. He doesn't argue or provoke or attempt to convert anyone to his view. But the absence of familiar signals, approval, flattery, emotional reinforcement, makes others uneasy. Many of his previous friendships begin to fade, not because of conflict, but because the foundation they stood on no longer holds. He begins to notice how often relationships are maintained through shared complaints, routine habits, or the mutual reinforcement of personal narratives. Once he no longer participates in those patterns, the connection weakens on its own. He no longer feels compelled to...
Okay, I feel like this is an even better way to raise money is to just play Alan Watts for the campaign. So if you're enjoying this Alan Watts Clubhouse experience, consider giving $1 to $10 to $100 to $1,000 if you can afford it. But this is candidate Congressman John Kitover. Chris, thanks for sending me the Brad Slander video. We've reposted it to our X account. Follow us on X at John Kitover IL right now. Thank you.
Offer agreement for the sake of belonging. He no longer entertains conversations that avoid substance, and he has no interest in maintaining ties that require him to shrink himself. This shift is not a rejection of others. It's the result of a change in what he's willing to invest his energy in. True friendship becomes something quieter, simpler, and far more rare. It is no longer based on shared illusions, but on mutual recognition. Two people who don't need each other, yet choose to walk alongside one another without expectation. These kinds of connections cannot be manufactured. They emerge naturally, if at all, and only when both individuals have stopped seeking to be completed by the other. Most social interaction relies on unspoken rules. You validate my perspective, I'll validate yours. We won't go too deep. We won't challenge each other's assumption. We'll pretend we agree, even if we don't. He used to play by those rules, because everyone did. But once he starts operating outside of them, the dynamic begins to break down. He no longer gives comfort just to ease tension. He doesn't pretend to agree when he doesn't. He's done with the little acts that keep everyone else feeling safe, but keep him feeling false. This isn't defiance, it's clarity. And that clarity is disruptive because it exposes how much of everyday life is based on mutual avoidance of truth. People notice, even if they don't understand what's changed. They feel the shift. They sense that something familiar has gone missing. The constant exchange of comfort, validation, and distraction. And without him feeding the system weakens. Talks start to feel awkward. People stop reaching out as much. What used to feel warm and familiar now feels tense and uneasy. Not because he did something wrong, but because he stopped playing along. He hasn't rejected anyone. He simply stopped reinforcing a structure he no longer believes in. As his understanding deepens, something unexpected happens. He begins to need less, not just materially, but emotionally, socially, even intellectually. He no longer seeks recognition. He no longer relies on others to confirm what he already knows internally. And as that need dissolves, so do many of the relationships that once required it. This is the paradox. The clearer he becomes, the quieter his life becomes. Not because he's closed off, but because so much of what once filled his time was rooted in a search for external affirmation. Without that search, most social activity feels optional, if not unnecessary. He stops trying to be understood. He stops needing to explain. He no longer measures his presence by how much space he takes up in other people's lives. From the outside, this might look like withdrawal, but inside it's the opposite, a settling into something solid and real. He still values connection, but only when it emerges naturally, without demand or performance. He hasn't become cold. He is simply no longer dependent. And in that detachment, there's a kind of depth that can't be found through attachment. Once he wakes up, he can't unsee what he sees. He looks inward, and the noise quiets. He looks outward, and the world is still asleep. He sees the false certainty in people's eyes, the roles they perform, the beliefs they never question, the constant movement that masks an inner stillness they haven't touched. He no longer envies what others call connection, because he understands the cost it often demands agreement, performance, conformity, and he won't trade truth for the comfort of fitting in. Still, there's a part of him that remembers, a part that quietly hopes, not for crowds, not for company, but for someone awake, someone who has seen what he's seen, felt what he's felt, someone who doesn't need him to be smaller, quieter, or more agreeable in order to feel safe. That kind of meeting is rare. It can't be forced, and he would rather wait in silence than pretend in conversation. So he walks alone, not because he enjoys being apart, but because in a world still dreaming, authenticity is more valuable than acceptance. At some point, the solitude stops feeling unusual. It becomes normal, not empty, just quiet. He no longer interprets distance as a problem to solve. He sees it for what it is, the natural result of no longer pretending. While others surround themselves with noise, he has learned to live in stillness. While many chase attention, he moves without asking to be seen. People often assume he must feel lonely, as if company, any company, is always better than walking alone. But they confuse isolation with absence. He is not absent. He is simply no longer performing. He has come to prefer the space that honesty creates over the closeness that illusion demands. This is the final shift. He doesn't need the world to wake up for him to feel hope. He doesn't need agreement to feel clear. And he doesn't need validation to know who he is. He walks alone, yes, but not as an outsider, as a man at peace with the cost of truth.
Most people use ChatGPT the wrong way. Here's how the smart ones get ahead.
Let's be real. Most people...
There is a curious paradox, which is, to love is unconditional, but to be loved is conditional. By the time one has crossed the 30s or 40s, they have seen enough of life to know that the fairy tales of youth were, at best, charming illusion. One begins to understand that love does not appear as a reward for virtue, nor is it guaranteed to remain, simply because you have been loyal, patient, or deserving. Some have poured themselves, drop by drop, into the vessel of another's life, only to watch it leak away through fingers that once clung to them. Others still dwell beneath the same roof with their chosen companion, yet feel as though they have become a stranger at their own table. And there are those who have wandered from heart to heart, thinking that the next embrace, the next yes, would finally fill the hollow within, only to find the emptiness echo back at them. You begin to wonder why something as natural as love has become such a labyrinth of conditions, unspoken bargains, and quiet disappointments. You sense that somewhere, beneath all the poetry and promises, there is a truth you have been avoiding. For love, as it is sold to us, is not love at all, but something dressed in its garment. And here, perhaps, lies the seed of our quiet discontent. We have confused the appearance of love with love itself, the structure that holds it, with the living thing it was meant to carry. From our earliest breath, the world whispered its bargain into our ears. Love is something to be earned. Behave as you are told, and you will be cherished. Fulfill the needs of another, and you will be kept. Offer beauty, strength, usefulness, devotion, and the reward will be love. But this is not love. It is a transaction masquerading as tenderness. It is the polite exchange of commodities between two people who have been taught to call their bargain romance. You see, a bargain can hold people together, but it cannot nourish them. Like two merchants bound by contract, they remain so long as the terms are met. And when they are not, they part. No matter how many years have passed, no matter how deeply your lives have entwined, the invisible ledger will one day be brought to the table and the sums will be counted. Many men and women wake in the middle years of life to the cold recognition that what they once believed was love was only an arrangement. It might have been cloaked in vows before God, adorned with flowers or sealed with the trembling promises of youth, but the heart of it was a simple pact. I will give you what you desire if you will give me what I desire. And when the giving stops, whether through weariness, age, illness, or simple change, the warmth fades. The eyes that once sparkled at your arrival now glance past you as if you had become little more than a shadow in the room. We were never told as children that such love is a performance and that performances end. When you mistake the bargain for love itself, you spend your years in quiet exhaustion. You give your time, your loyalty, your devotion, believing this will secure the thing your soul longs for. But what you have secured is not love, only the continuance of an arrangement. And so it happens that many, after years of faithful giving, find themselves bewildered when the warmth fades. Not because they cease to care, but because life has moved, as all things do. Nothing stands still. Even stone wears away. Even plastic warps with time. The man or woman you first knew has changed, just as you have, and the bond built upon fixed terms begins to strain under the weight of impermanence. And there is another truth, more difficult to swallow. When the demands of the bargain are no longer met, the mask will fall. In the absence of what they sought from you, be it comfort, affirmation, or security, some will show you who they truly are. The tenderness you thought was theirs by nature may vanish, revealing not cruelty perhaps, but a hollowness where love was never rooted. You may have felt it, the gaze that no longer lingers, the laughter replaced by a cold and watchful silence. The shift is so quiet, you can almost convince yourself it isn't there. But in that stillness you see it. You were cherished not for your being, but for the service you rendered. And when such a union falters, it does not simply end. It unravels something inside you. It leaves you staring at the ruins, asking whether you were ever truly loved or only ever necessary. Love is not a bargain, nor is it a chain. It is not I will if you will, nor the silent counting of who has given more. Such things belong to the marketplace, not to the heart. True love is a freedom, the liberty to give without ledger or demand. It is to be fully present with another, not to bind them, but to care for them, simply because the caring itself is joy. It is a gift given without the shadow of a contract, without the fear that it must be returned in equal measure.
I'll tell you a secret. I spent over $1 million on this event, and I've got 3 pieces of good news. Number 1, you're invited. Number 2, it's free. And number 3,
the shadow of a contract, without the fear that it must be returned in equal measure. But here lies the paradox. Such love cannot be given by one who is starving for it. The heart that is desperate to be loved back will always, in some hidden way, attach strings to its giving. It will watch, it will measure, it will wait for the return. And when it does not come, bitterness will grow like ivy through have ceased to beg for love. And you cannot cease to beg until you have found within yourself a source that does not run dry. That source is not in another's eyes, nor in their approval. It is in the quiet knowing that you are already the child of the very life that breathed you into being. Call it God, call it the eternal, call it the nameless mystery. It has loved you into existence before you could earn or deserve a thing. Look at the sun. Even after all this time, the sun never says to the earth, "You owe me." Look what happens with a love like that. It lights the whole sky. To know this is to stand unshaken, whether others love you or turn away. Then, and only then, can you give love, as the sun gives light, not to be thanked, not to be owed, but because it cannot help itself. To love is your freedom. No one can take it from you. It is the act of your own being, the overflow of the life that moves through you. You may give it to one, to many, or to the whole world, but it remains yours to give, to be loved. Now that is another matter that is never in your keeping. You cannot command it, purchase it, or reason it into being. Love offered to you is a gift of its own accord, arriving when it will, leaving when it must. It is as the wind that brushes your cheek. You may open your arms to it, but you cannot hold it there forever. If love is given to you, receive it with gratitude. Drink of it while it flows, but never clutch at it, as though it were the last drop in the world. For the moment you try to drag it from another's hands, it ceases to be love and becomes something else, obligation, pity, or bondage. And remember this, you are already loved, not by the fickle tides of human affection, but by the source from which you came. It breathed you into life without condition, without demand. To see this is to know you are never wholly bereft. If you wish for love from others, it must begin here in loving yourself, not in the shallow sense of indulgence, but in the deep sense of accepting your own being without reserve. For a heart at peace with itself no longer begs, it invites, and when two such hearts meet, their love is not a trade, but a meeting of rivers, each full from its own spring. When two people who have learned to dwell at peace within themselves come together, it is not to be filled, for their cups are already full. They do not arrive at each other's door as beggars, bowls outstretched. They come as givers, carrying abundance that spills over the rim. In such a union, there is no bargaining. No one is keeping score. No quiet dread of who owes who. Love is not given to earn, nor withheld to punish. It moves as naturally as breath, as the tide that rises and falls without being told. Here, the joy is not in taking, but in sharing. There is no hunger in the eyes, only light. One gives not because the other demands it, but because giving is the most natural expression of their being. And so both are fed, not by the draining of one into the other, but by the overflow of each. This is the only love that does not rot into resentment. For where there is no emptiness to be filled, there is no fear of losing. When two full hearts meet, they are free to let each other be, to grow, to change, to wander and return, without the grasping that turns love into a cage. And yet, such a meeting is rare, for most search the world to find another who will complete them, not knowing they were never half a person to begin with. Only when you drink deeply from your own well will you find another who drinks from theirs. And together, you will not merely survive, you will overflow. The world you meet a stranger. It is yourself in another form. You cannot draw from a well what is not in it, nor can you meet in others what you have not yet met. In your own heart, if you carry a hollowness within, you will find yourself surrounded by those who take, not because the world conspires against you, but because nature fills a vacuum. Those who have nothing will seek from you what you have not given to yourself, and you will mistake their hunger for love. If, on the other hand, you move through life with the fullness of being, you will meet those who also carry an abundance. They will not clutch at you or drain you, for they are not living on scraps. Instead, you will find an ease in their company, a recognition as though you had always known them. This is not a mystical trick, nor some hidden cosmic law, but a simple truth of human meeting. The depth to which you have faced yourself becomes the depth to which you can meet another. Most quarrels in love are not between two people, but between the unexamined shadows each has brought along. So, before you go searching for kindness, tenderness, or devotion in the eyes of another, turn inward and meet your own gaze, not to condemn yourself, nor to tally your flaws, but to make the acquaintance of the stranger you have long carried in silence. For it is this hidden self who extends the invitation to others, this unseen presence, who will decide whether the love you meet will be a feast to your soul or the slow unraveling of it. When this truth takes root in you, do not hoard it. Place it gently in the hands of your children, for they are stepping into the same illusion that once ensnared you. Teach them that love is not the trembling romance of songs, nor the solemn bargain sealed before altar and law. It is the willingness to give without the shadow of a demand, to care without the constant fear of loss. If they do not learn this, they will build their homes upon sand and watch them crumble. But if they do, they will stand on rock, and love will not be a cage, but a sky. The question is not, how can I find someone to love me? But the question is, how can I become someone who overflows? For when love is no longer a plea but a gift, when joy is no longer chained to another's approval, you will see that to love and be loved is not something to chase. It is the way you already are. You are not a half searching for the other half. You are whole. And from that wholeness, love flows, finding those who recognize it instantly. Then love ceases to be a hunt, or a bargain, or a desperate keeping. It becomes the quiet, steady light of the sun, needing nothing in return, yet warming the whole sky.